Welcome to the Undisputed podcast. I'm your host, Jenny Taft. This podcast is the full show from today's episode of Undisputed from start to finish. They've got a busy slate, so skip Shannon. Let's get to it.
Welcome to Undisputed. We are live from LA. I'm Jenny Taft here with Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharpe. Good morning, guys.
Good morning, Jenny.
So, somebody's gone permanently with no tie.
Hey, whoa!
If you can't beat them, you join them.
You know.
Right?
What I doing?
You've been playing for a tie for 4 years on this show, and you've never achieved a single tie, so now you go with no tie.
I know, okay, you're going to bring this up, so now I'm going back to the tie.
Are you
I'm going
really?
back to the tie.
I just shamed you back into a tie?
You shamed me back into
And
the
you realize that adds like 7 more minutes to your time to get ready for this show, because you got a tie.
I got a tie.
And it's
a lot of prep.
like a hassle.
Yeah.
Right?
So that's why you don't wear a tie. It's a hassle.
I get 7 extra prep minutes, and they're crucial to win these.
Well, Steve and I, we be prepping at night. We get 2 hours of call time at night.
This show.
Well, somebody spends like 5 hours a night getting ready for the show.
We are only a minute in. We're already arguing about the tie. We have an awesome show for you today. Is Tom Brady really the third best free agent this offseason? Plus, how much does Kawhi winning the All-Star Game MVP heat up the rivalry with LeBron and the Lakers? We got a lot there. But first, we do need to talk about the latest with Myles Garrett. Steelers coach Mike Tomlin came to Mason Rudolph's defense yesterday after Garrett doubled down on his claim that Rudolph used a racial slur, which ignited their on-field brawl last season. And former Browns GM John Dorsey told the Akron Beacon Journal that the Browns defensive lineman told him about the alleged racial slur right after the incident occurred. So, Shannon, do the latest developments change your view of the accusation?
No, because all it's done, Skip, is reopen the wound that we can't prove.
Yeah.
I mean, unless Myles Garrett can offer definitive proof that this was said, I just don't understand what's his rationale for doing this. I can assure you this is not what the NFL had hoped when they reinstated Myles Garrett.
Nope.
Skip, and he was asked, why didn't you bring it up right after the game? He said, I didn't because I would be reaching for justification at the time. What the hell are you doing now? It doesn't seem like you're apologizing. It doesn't seem like you, basically what you're saying, the reason why I did what I did is because I heard what I heard, which is justification for doing what you did. So in other words, you didn't want to do that. This is why you didn't mention it after the game, because you didn't want to seem like you had justification for doing what you did. You want, like, I apologize. It's a bad look for the organization. It's a bad look for myself, and I apologize. You felt that if you told him what he had said, that would have been all for justifications for why you did it. So what do you think you're doing now by bringing this up? Skip, it's kind of, it's kind of like I've seen at least 100 documentaries on the death of Jimmy Hoffa, and we still don't know who did it and where he's buried. And here it is again. So what are we going to do? We're going to just keep going through this thing over and over again when we don't have proof? Mason Rudolph says, I didn't say that. It's 1,000% false. You're a bold-faced lie. Myles Garrett said you did say it, and you said the stupid end on top of it. Skip, how do we prove it? It doesn't make it, for me, Skip, it doesn't make any sense. And I get John Dorsey saying, well, he told me this. John Dorsey, did you relay this information to the NFL? Did any of the coaches that Myles Garrett allegedly said this to, did they relay this information? Okay, NFL, if you had this information, the NFL says, look, we've checked the audio, we can't find it. I just don't know, Skip, where do we go from here? Is this going to be a continuation? But I just know, it's hard for me to believe. I could be totally wrong, but probably not. It's hard for me to believe that Myles Garrett sat down in front of the commissioner, as I'm sitting in front of you, Skip, and says he said it. That's why I did what I did. It's hard for me to believe that he said that. I believe that Myles Garrett said he was sorry. I believe that he showed genuine contrition in front of the commissioner, only to have a day after he gets reinstated or the day he got reinstated, do an interview on OTL. That makes no sense, Skip. I just, look, it doesn't change it for me. I just wish Myles would have left this alone. He peeled a scab off a wound that was healing. I thought it was healing, but hey, I guess he wants to have justification for doing what he did, and that's why he's rehashing this.
Okay, quick point of order about Jimmy Hoffa's death. According to Martin Scorsese's latest film, The Irishman, we now know who killed Jimmy Hoffa, but that's according to Martin Scorsese, and I don't know whether I should believe 1 ounce of that.
Exactly.
Which leads me back to this story. 24 hours after we discussed it yesterday, I'm more conflicted, I'm more torn than I was 24 hours ago, given the latest developments. And in all my years trying to ascertain situations like this, trying to get to the bottom of it, this one's getting murkier and murkier. And it's hard for me to completely dismiss Myles Garrett's contention, his accusation, even though I'm leaning with you because your compass here is always pointing in the correct direction, and yours has pointed no pretty much from the start. But here's the point. If Myles Garrett mishandled how he reacted immediately after the alleged N-word was uttered, just because he mishandled it in ways Shannon Sharpe would have never mishandled it, if he handled it completely differently than Shannon Sharpe would have handled it, does that mean the N-word was not uttered? No.
No.
No. So I'm more torn because the John Dorsey development of yesterday threw me the biggest curveball because John Dorsey texted with the Akron Beacon Journal that, yes, you're correct. Yes, it's the truth that Garrett did inform him right after the game of the racial slur accusation. Okay, why didn't John Dorsey make that clear in the moments after the game? Why didn't he address the media and say, we have a situation here?
Right. Or when Mike Tomlin, Skip, remember Mike Tomlin says, when I immediately came off the field, nobody said anything, talking to the coach.
To your point, that was a powerful statement from Mike Tomlin on ESPN because he's saying, I have a lot of friends in that organization. I know a lot of those players personally. And you know, Shannon Sharpe, and I know that if that word had been uttered, and that was the flashpoint that ignited the helmet throwing or swinging.
Sure.
You know, and I know, somebody would have gone right up to Mike Tomlin as he left the field and said, Coach,
we got a situation.
We got a situation here. Did not happen. Okay, should we completely condemn Myles Garrett for this when we've talked about this before? He's different. He's not cut out of the typical NFL warrior mode, right, or mold. I'm going back to something I've read before. It was from a 2017 ESPN The Magazine piece on Myles Garrett just before he was drafted, first overall. Okay. And the writer says that in the span of a few minutes hanging out with Myles Garrett, he navigated the conversation from the genius of Journey, the rock band, which you wouldn't think he would love Journey, but you never know, okay? I don't know. Do you love Journey?
I don't love Journey, but I know who they are.
Okay, all right, fine. But he's talking about Journey to the true nature.
I'm more of a foreigner guy, but that's neither here nor there.
Foreigner's very good.
But I just made that up.
Okay. To the true nature, he's talking now to the writer, to the true nature of astrophysicist Neil deGrasse Tyson's power to the words of Maya Angelou and how they can infuse every cell of your body with light and love. This is the interview that he's having. Okay, so he's showing range that you don't always get from NFL players. You have a lot of range to you, but I don't know if you would have displayed that in an interview.
No. Skip, let me explain something, how we operate in our community. We get into an argument. If somebody calls us something out of context, we go to blows. Call me the B word again. Call me the N-word again. We're going to say that. Oh, you want to call me that? I bet you I ain't your B-Niama.
Okay.
Myles Garrett did none of that. He reacted.
Okay, but time out. I'm trying to explain to you. I'm not sure he's the typical member of your community.
But that's the thing. But Skip, he reacted. He said, now, I'm listening to his interview. He says he doesn't use that word and something set him off when he heard the word being uttered to him. So if it set him off and caused him to go into that kind of rage, then all of a sudden, I'm cool with it.
So who did he say that he told immediately in the locker room? Larry Ogunjobi, his teammate, who was a draft mate of his, because they were drafted in the 2017 draft.
Who also missed the game because he shoved Mason Rudolph.
He shoved Mason Rudolph. Okay, where did Larry Ogunjobi come from? He played football at Charlotte for the 49ers of Charlotte. I wasn't even sure they had a football team until I saw this before the show. But he majored, did Larry Ogunjobi, in computer science and biology. So a little different. And maybe as birds of a feather, the kindred spirits, they connected.
Right.
And it sounds to me, from all I've read, like Myles Garrett wasn't really close to anybody on the whole football team except Larry Ogunjobi.
Correct.
Okay, so what shocked you after the game was nobody had Myles Garrett's back.
Correct.
I'm talking about the leaders of the team, Jarvis and Odell and Baker Mayfield. Right. They did not have his back. And in the weeks and months after the incident, nobody has publicly had his back.
Right.
Except kind of Larry Ogunjobi, but nobody really knew who he was.
Correct.
He wasn't a prominent member of the Browns, nor was he seen as a team leader. So we dismissed his reaction after the game, which was he was backing that there was a racial slur uttered.
Right. Well, I think it had more to do with it. He saw his teammate getting double teamed or triple teamed.
Okay.
So he's like, oh, no, this is not about to go down like this.
Okay. But back to John Dorsey, who's no longer the GM of the Browns. So you wonder where what his motivation is here to say what he said. But he's texting with the Akron Beacon Journal. Yes, it's correct that he told me that there was a racial slur uttered. And yet the statement that he issued to the media after the game was, this is from John Dorsey, that Garrett was, quote, open and honest with us about the incident from the start. Well, what does that mean? It means nothing.
Nothing.
Open and honest how? Give me a specific. Be explicit.
Right.
Well, he wasn't explicit, so now there's some 20/20 hindsight. Oh, yes, he told me that.
Right.
Well, we're way after the fact, and he's doubled down on his accusation, and all of a sudden, John Dorsey is singling down for the first time. He's saying, yeah, that's what he told me. Well, you didn't tell us that then.
Exactly.
That would have changed life. That would have changed
I believe it would have also, Skip, if they had come out immediately after. Now, I get, Myles Garrett, like right after Skip, it's hard for me, like in that moment, like when the media come in, I'm going to explain to them because they've never seen me behave like this before. Shannon, what set you off? Man, you know what he said? I'm going to tell you what he said. Okay, once I leave there, Skip, I'm going to probably get it from, it's kind of like, you want to say something, but your attorney says, look, you want to profess your innocence, y'all didn't happen like this, but the attorney says, no, we're just going to, we'll have our date. We'll have our date. And I guess Myles Garrett is saying, I wanted my day with the NFL commissioner. But Skip, it's hard for me because when you let it go this long, it's already being framed of what's transpired. And it's almost like you're injecting this because if you inject that word, people are like, okay, well, that's cool. He got a green light. He should have split his head open.
Absolutely.
So he understands when you interject that word into a fight, all bets off. People like, ain't got no problem with it. So Myles Garrett know full well, like I said, but how do we prove it? We can't. The NFL says there's no audio, but Myles Garrett is running. He's running very, very close to getting sued because you're impugning a man's name. Skip. Now look, Mason Rudolph is not Tom Brady or Drew Brees. A marginal quarterback can't overcome something like this in an NFL locker room.
No.
Now that might can happen in a college and they can get past it, but not in an NFL locker room. Not with grown ass men. That's not going to happen. And you keep reiterating this. But you better, Skip, you got to have some proof. You better come with proof.
Okay, and what was Mike Tomlin's key point yesterday on ESPN? His biggest issue was with the panel discussion that ensued after the Myles Garrett interview with Mina Kimes. And the point of the panel discussion was it degenerated, as sometimes we have, into he said, he said, he said, he said. And Mike Tomlin's point was, wait a second, you have to put it in the perspective of the NFL did a thorough investigation and found no evidence, no evidence of the N-word being uttered. So he's saying, give us some break here because that's what the NFL found. Right.
So in other words, you're just taking Myles Garrett's word that he said that when the NFL and we did an investigation, we found nothing, they found nothing, but you're going to believe Myles Garrett because he behaved the way he did.
Okay. And then you've made the point repeatedly that Myles Garrett subsequently sat with the commissioner. I don't know if it was directly with the commissioner or with people around the commissioner to discuss the incident. And apparently he wasn't convincing enough in his one-on-one interviews with the NFL to make them believe that it was uttered, because he talked to them, right? He
correct.
And I don't know how far he went, or maybe he pulled the punch on it. Maybe he just said.
But Skip, you know, the first time that we heard about it is because it leaked out of the meeting that Myles Garrett had with the commissioner.
Yeah.
Somehow it got out. Adam Schefter reported.
That's true. No, that's true.
So we didn't know anything about that.
I'm not saying it fell on deaf ears, but they weren't with him, because then they continued to investigate, and obviously there's no audio to be found of it, and I'm sure they interviewed dozens of people in and around the situation, and nobody brought any evidence that the N-word got uttered. Which brings us back to Mason Rudolph, and again, if he did say what is alleged to have been said, I got no sympathy whatsoever. I told you it's the most evil word in the English language. I wish it could be eradicated. And yet, now, because of the double down, his career is in peril. It is in grave jeopardy. Because now, I got to believe some members of the Pittsburgh Steelers, black and white, are thinking, well, is it possible that he... And if you have a shred of doubt about the quarterback of your football team, he's got a problem. So it's almost to your point, he's almost been pushed so deeply into the corner that he almost has to sue for his reputation to try to go to court and prove his innocence here, right? And it's not for financial gain, although he could stand to make a lot of money, but it's more to go to court and say, in a court of law, I was found innocent.
And you need to stop saying this, because you're impugning my reputation. You're doing irreparable harm to my reputation. Skip, look, there are a lot of things that guys can get, maybe like before the NFL became integrated. And in the very early stages, maybe whites could use that word to black players, and they were just so happy to be there, Skip. They didn't do anything.
How far back are you going?
You probably got it probably in the 50s and 60s. I'm going to say at the bare minimum 60s. It's hard for me to believe right now that a white player would utter that on the football field and not expect it to be fought to the tooth and nail.
Absolutely.
I don't care who the player is.
I don't either. I completely agree with you.
And so, Miles, Skip, when you insert that word, they're like, look, I don't excuse behavior, but you know, being where grew up, how I grew up, and where I grew up in rural South Georgia, that word, if that's true, if it can be proven that Mason Rudolph, and you can't, it hasn't been proven yet. Not say it can, it haven't. Okay, I got no problem with it. I would defend Myles Garrett. If Mason Rudolph uttered that, I got no problem with Myles Garrett.
Sure. Yeah.
I mean, you defend him using his helmet on him.
Yeah, absolutely.
I would too.
Absolutely.
I say you have every right. Swing away.
Because the thing is like, look, you might not, I can't get you to take that one back, but you probably won't say it again.
Yeah.
But at this point, Skip, at this point, you've gotten reinstated. Should be a happy time. Why are you bringing this back up? What does he hope to accomplish? Is he not pleased that Mason Rudolph he got 6 games, probably lost what, $1 million, $2 million
it was over $700,000.
Okay, over $700,000 in compensation, and Mason Rudolph, who many believe was the originator of this because he tried to take his helmet off. It's hard for me to believe, Skip, a guy trying to take your helmet off because you react like this. Like I said, so I guess he's upset that Mason Rudolph basically went without punishment, $50,000 compared to what I went through when you caused the whole incident. To get back, I don't see a situation where the NFL say, you know what? Let us dig again and see if we can find audio where Mason Rudolph says this, and we're gonna, dole out, double jeopardy, double dip, and okay, Mason, we find you $50,000, but we found audio of you saying this. Now you're gonna be gone 6 games. I don't see a scenario where that happens.
Okay, so now that brings us to the one Fox component here, which was Jay Glazer, our man Jay Glazer. According to Myles Garrett, that Jay reached out to Myles, let's sit down and do an interview, and that Myles was game to do it. I wanted to get my side out there. And it was the Browns, according to the Akron Beacon Journal story, who said, after thinking about it, no, not a good idea, let it lay. And so they nixed the interview with Jay Glazer. And Jay did go on our network on Sunday morning and say, I'm paraphrasing, but basically, we did think we haven't had an interview set up, and
Correct.
then we didn't. So the point is, are the Browns complicit here? Did they put the clamps on this and just say, nope, don't go there? Like, let it lay?
It's just, Skip, I just don't, how do we get to the bottom of this? I mean, we dig and dig.
Okay, so, but again, my question is, what if Miles had done an interview with Jay Glazer
Right.
and it aired on that next Sunday live on Fox?
Right.
And he had said he uttered the N-word. Would you have felt differently about it?
Probably.
It would be right in the aftermath.
Right.
It would be
well,
3 days
Skip,
later.
I'm still looking for the guy that punched him. Have they found the guy that punched him yet?
Yes, they did. I'm glad you brought that up because there was an incident, it was just a little less than a month earlier,
Right.
in which Miles tweeted that a guy asked me for a selfie
Right.
while I was stopped at a light
Right.
and then punched me in the face.
Right.
And to his credit, because he took down the license tag,
Right.
that 4 hours later, the Cleveland police tracked down the guy,
Right.
but Miles did not file charges.
Wow.
But he did say the guy punched him in the face. And there's some sort of dash cam video of this
Wow.
incident. So I don't know. It was corroborated, as crazy as it sounds, and I have a hard time believing anybody would punch that guy in the face.
Exactly. Because obviously you had to know who it was. People don't normally just walk up to guys that's 6'4", 275 pounds and punch them in the face.
And first, I know you. I'm not sure you'd roll your window down.
No.
Okay.
Craig, what? Yeah.
Yeah. What?
Are you? Yeah, I am. Thank you. Have a good day.
Okay,
Now,
thank you very much. Yep.
Look, for me, what I try to do when I try to be, people recognize who I am, obviously, from doing this show with you, and they always ask, Skip, tell Skip LeBron's the GOAT. They always get that, but Skip, I try to be courteous, but I don't really try to make eye contact. I try to keep, I keep moving, going about my business. Hey, some people I've gotten close with in Whole Foods. I go to the store and I joke with them a lot, but I just try to keep it moving because I don't want any problems.
I got it.
Well, the attention both of you receive, I noticed it at the Super Bowl. I mean, at some point, you can only, every fan, you try to do your best for every single person, but it's hard in your position.
I stop on every street corner that we walk down.
You held the line up. Because Skip gets, me, I'm like, hey, how you doing? Thanks for coming out. We appreciate the show. Yeah. Skip's going to find out who he wants to know who's your favorite team, how long you been rooting for.
I'm going to convince them LeBron is not the GOAT.
Yeah.
Who's your favorite?
In 1 minute
we got
or
all
less.
day.
How long you been a Cowboys fan? Yeah. Skip, can we move the line along?
And it means a lot.
I'm at dinner with Ernestine, and here they come, and here comes another one, and she's saying, this is my only time with you. I know, but they're a lifeblood.
And he be waiting. He be wanting to debate at the dinner table. He wants to debate. He be running.
He's always ready. Come on, he lives ready.
Because most people walk away from me saying, you know what, LeBron's not.
Old Goat James.
They
probably walk away and said, old Goat James.
The problem right now, it's still he said.
That's
we don't have a solution. We don't have more evidence.
I must admit, I've kind of gone back toward Myles Garrett a little bit, just a little bit, but I still don't know for sure. And
with tapes that the NFL said does not exist, how are we ever going to know?
We're never going to know, and unfortunately for Mason Rudolph, we're never going to know.
Because here's the thing, Skip. Even though once you put something out there, there's going to be a small percentage of people that's going to believe that he said it.
And not forget it. Regardless.
Hey,
regardless.
If I'm Mason Rudolph, I think I got to sue.
Yeah.
If I believe with all my heart and soul I didn't even come close to uttering that, then I want to get sworn in on the witness stand, right?
Yeah.
I want under the threat of perjury to be able to testify.
Yes.
I think that's the latest, his attorney threatening to sue for defamation of character. So we'll have to see the next steps there.
No mercy.
Pro Football Focus ranked the upcoming free agents, and quarterbacks took the top spots. Drew Brees came in at number 1, followed by Dak Prescott and Tom Brady, who rounded out the top 3. And last night, Tom Brady posted to his Instagram story saying, quote, "Go ahead and bet against me. You think you've seen the best of me? I'm grateful for you doubting me, and I'm determined to prove you wrong again." So, Shannon, do you agree with this ranking?
Yep. Drew Brees is better short term. Dak Prescott is better long term. So, yep, agree with it. I can't.
Okay, but we're talking about right here, right now.
I would take Drew Brees and Dak, Dakota Rain, whoever comes first.
Yep.
I'm taking them over Tom Brady.
The guy you gave F.
Lot of Fs.
Oh, yeah. And the guy that you gave A, now you want somebody over here, but it's my turn.
Yeah, it is.
You interrupted me. Look, I don't think anybody has Drew Brees played at a higher level than Tom Brady played last year. Dak Prescott, although his record is not in there, I thought he played better than Brady did last year. Skip, I'm sorry. I'm not going back and try to do anything with what Brady's already accomplished. That's accomplished. He did it. But at this point, 2020 and moving forward, I'm not taking Brady over any of these guys. Guy's going to be 43. Was he not trying to prove people wrong last year? Oh, I guess he was coming off the Super Bowl. You didn't need to prove anything, J. But I thought that's what athletes always do. I thought the measuring stick is that it's not getting complacent. It's not when you scale one mountain, you find another one.
Yep.
Okay, you climb the Andes, you go to Kilimanjaro. You get Kilimanjaro, you go to Everest. Oh, I thought that's what you did. So now so you telling me Tom Brady took off last year? Or was he not trying to prove people wrong last year? No, it's not. It's a rhetorical. Oh, so that's what it is. You do whatever. Motivate yourself. But Father Time, he has had unlimited timeouts. He is a very patient soul. Father Time is coming. And Coach Belichick knows that he's coming. Tom Brady knows that he's coming. You can get all the T-shirts you want. You can have all the cliches and sayings that you want. He's undefeated, and he's coming.
But he hadn't gotten there yet.
Oh, yeah, he did. You saw it. You saw the slippage last year, Skip Bayless.
I did not. I must have seen. I got to get a new TV, I guess. I don't know.
Oh, you didn't see those pick sixes at the end of the game?
So I'm going to start at the bottom. I'm going to go to the end of your argument, and I'm going to go to what happened last year. Here's what I saw at the end of last year.
What'd you see?
I saw Tom Brady lift a below-average football team into contention for the number 2 seed in the AFC. And that's pretty great, given what Lamar and company were doing in Baltimore. I saw the New England Patriots, thanks to Tom Brady, have a 24-20 lead with 3:53 left in their final regular season game at home against the Miami lowly Dolphins. And I know the Dolphins started to rise at the end of the year, and they knocked off Wentz and company, but it was still the Dolphins at Foxborough. And thanks to Tom Brady driving the Patriots, 8 plays, 60 yards, thanks to Tom Brady hitting James White yet again for a 13-yard touchdown, the New England Patriots led 24-20 over the Dolphins of Fitzmagic with 3:53 left with the 2 seed right in their laps. Is the 2 seed good in the AFC?
Yeah.
I'd say it's pretty great, right? So you tell me slippage. Baloney slippage. I saw Tom Brady do what he always does, take them home with yet another fourth quarter comeback touchdown that should have stood up. And then what happened, Mr. Sharpe?
What happened?
You saw the end of the game. Bill Belichick's defense did not happen. I saw 13 plays, 75 yards from Ryan Fitzpatrick. Think about that. With the 2 seed in the palms of your hands, Bill Belichick's defense could not keep Ryan Fitzpatrick's offense out of the end zone. Now, I'm not talking about a field goal because it wasn't going to be enough to just kick the field goal. It was 24-20. Fitzpatrick had to go score a touchdown in Foxborough against Bill Belichick's defense to unseat the Patriots from the 2 seed. And he did it with a 5-yard pass to Mike Gesicki with 24 seconds left. So help me out, Mr. Sharpe. Did Tom Brady not do what he always does to put them in position to have a bye, a week off, a home game, and then potentially an AFC championship rematch against the Baltimore Ravens at Baltimore?
They weren't good enough.
Okay, well, they probably weren't good enough, but he had lifted them in position once again to be good enough. So now back to Jenny's question, back to the point. I am the biggest Dak Prescott fan who ever walked this planet.
I can't tell.
Well,
Correct.
you can't tell because I told you from the start, the guy in question is the GOAT. And the GOAT going on 43 still looks pretty healthy to me, and he is extremely driven. And what did the great Shannon Sharpe tell me? When he hit 35, he just lost his desire to keep going to those freaking meetings.
Yeah, I did.
Right?
Yep.
You got to keep going in there and hearing the same drudgery day after day after day. This guy's on fire. This guy just posted. You got the quotes, right?
Yeah. You want me to read it
me
again?
one more quote again.
This guy, go ahead and bet against me. You think you've seen the best of me. I'm grateful for you doubting me, and I'm determined to prove you wrong.
Thank you, Shannon Sharpe.
43 years old.
I already got my money with Fox Bet.
Okay.
I slid him a couple of grams of pumps.
Okay, so everybody is missing the boat and the point about what's happening right now. This is the equivalent of Michael Jeffrey Jordan at the end of his prime in Chicago in 1998, suddenly becoming a free agent and saying, "Hello, world, come and get me." This is the Michael Jordan who quit. Remember, he quit because Phil Jackson was going to get replaced by Jerry Krause. So he just said, "I retire."
Tim Floyd. Tim Floyd. Krause was going to replace Phil with Tim Floyd.
With Tim Floyd, from Iowa State. Yeah. Close friend of mine. So the point was, Michael just said, he's my coach, and you remove him, you remove me.
Right.
But what if Michael had said, I become a free agent, which was not, he had a contract, but let's just say in 1998, at the end of his prime, he had become a free agent. That's what is about to ensue. And everybody is missing the point and the boat on this one, except all those teams who are quietly preparing to go all in to try to sign Tom Brady. Just watch what's about to happen.
But the difference
this is unparalleled. This has never happened before.
Skip, you say Tom Brady had no slippage, his play is exemplary. Tom Brady had the lowest QBR since they've been tracking it, since QBR became an official stat. He had his lowest yards per attempt, completion percentage. He had a pick 6 in Miami because that's how they got the 20, Jenny. You know, he's supposed to only have 13.
Yeah, and then he canceled it.
Whoa, he ain't no cancel nothing. You can't cancel that.
Yes, he canceled it.
Hold on.
Up 24-20. Here, defense, all you got to do is make them punt one time. Just make them go to 4th down and throw it away.
Skip, you write me a check. I become overdrawn. They take that money out, the check bounce. They take that money out of my account. As a matter of fact, I got a homeboy right now at Savannah State. His mom wrote him a check for $50. I cashed it. Check bounce. They took $50 from me. He still owed me. That was in '88. So they take that money out of my account. You try to make it.
Hey, I got a question.
Yeah.
Who was Tom Brady's go-to receiver last year? Help me out.
Julian Edelman.
Thank you.
Super Bowl MVP.
Wait a second. We're talking about beat up, broken down 33-year-old Julian Edelman, whose timeout had busted ribs, a bad knee, and a shoulder that would require, soon after the season, surgery.
How did he get that?
Surgery.
Tom Brady throwing them ducks to him.
Speaking of ducks, Julian Edelman led the National Football League in drop passes. He led all receivers in drop passes, and that was your go-to. Who was your tight end last year? Help me out. Was it Rob Gronk? No, it wasn't, obviously.
Whoa! Now you like Gronk. Hold on. I know Tom Brady didn't usher a 28-3 comeback with Gronk off the field. Okay. Remember, Jenny? Oh, Gronk is good, but Tom Brady.
Okay, what were the alternatives? Benjamin Watson at age 39, you like that? Or how about the immortal Matt LaCosse? How about as a group of tight ends, last in receptions in the whole National Football League was the Patriots. Last. Okay, and we've talked about N'Keal Harry. I love the draft choice. I thought it was great, but he got hurt. He missed the first 8 games, and he never got it. He never got in any rhythm.
But hold on, I'm confused, Jenny, because we have this discussion every year. Now, at first, Julian Edelman is a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
Now Julian Edelman is a busted up, broken down shell of himself.
It happens.
He had a lot of injuries.
So he shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame.
Is he not a high contact player? Is he not high collision?
Yes, he is.
Not a possession receiver,
But here's the thing. But when I tried to explain to people that Chris Hogan is better than you think,
okay, you got it.
Amendola is better than you think.
I give you that.
Oh, it's all Tom Brady.
Okay, I give you that.
If it's all Tom.
Guess what group of receivers ranked last in separation last year? Separation's a key element to getting open to catch the football. Last were the New England Patriots. I'm not finished. Who ranked 18th in the NFL in rushing? The New England Patriots. So Tom couldn't take some pressure off by handing the ball.
He was 20th in QBR. He was 19th. So that explains why.
So they couldn't protect him very well. They couldn't run the ball. Nobody could get open to catch the ball. And you can throw all the numbers you want, but what did your eye test tell you? Did you see lost velocity or mobility? Did you see it? And I'm not saying he had much mobility. You saw lost velocity?
I see that.
I did not.
I see it going down this way.
I did not see it.
I don't see the meter going up in here.
Okay, but time out. You've been seeing that for 4 straight years, and he kept making you eat your words.
Okay. So this year, he didn't want me to eat my words this year, huh, Jenny? You know, the very previous years, he made me eat my words. He didn't want me to eat them.
He made you. Belichick didn't hold up his end of the bargain.
Oh, my goodness.
Am I not right?
No, Skip.
Okay, what if they stop Ryan Fitzpatrick? You don't like their odds as the 2 seed? I like them at least to get to the AFC Championship.
Let that sink in for just a second, Skip. All the games in which they gave up 17 or more points, they lost. You know, you got Tom Brady to go. You mean to tell me?
I just gave you. He's got no help, zero help. In fact, I could have picked 3 guys from Dorchester who have been better than the receivers he had.
Skip, you know
seriously,
what? You know
before the game, he could have picked 3 guys from Dorchester.
I just Googled the term. Nobody does more with less. And they got a picture of Tom Brady right there to the side of it. That's what you told me, Skip Bailey. Everybody's been preaching. Nobody does more with less than Tom Brady. So now that he got less, do more.
Obviously, if it becomes an ugly contractual impasse with Dak Prescott, do I believe right here, right now, that Tom Brady would give my Cowboys a better chance to win next year's Super Bowl? You better believe I do. He'll give any of these teams, the Chargers or the 49ers.
You hear that, Dak?
He'll give, well, yeah, you better hear it.
Ooh, Dak.
Maybe that'll make Dak come to his
Dak
senses a little
ain't
bit.
gonna do it.
Maybe Dak will say,
old Todd France dug in.
Yeah. Well,
he dug in like an Alabama tick on a hound.
Yeah.
He ain't going nowhere.
And Jerry might call him up one of these next few nights and say, I'm sorry, Todd, but I got a chance to sign Tom Brady. I think I'm going to do it.
Well, you know what? You know what? Dak and Todd France got him on block, so we better call from a number that they don't know because they got him on block. Unless you call it with 40 mil with 120 guaranteed, we got nothing to talk about.
Question to the great Shannon Sharpe, Hall of Famer.
What?
Which quarterback gives the Dallas Cowboys the better chance to win next year's Super Bowl?
Dakota Rain or
next
Rain
year's
Dakota.
Super Bowl.
Dakota Prescott.
Dakota Prescott. You said he's not Carson Wentz. He's not anybody. He's not even Jared Goff, says the Hall of Fame.
Hold on. I'm riding with Dakota.
Now you are.
Over Tom Brady. Skip, the man's 43. The man's going to be 43 by the time the season. Yes.
August 3rd.
By the time the season starts.
He's looking 23 to me.
No, he doesn't.
I just hope to be as driven as Tom Brady in 10 years. Jeez, this guy.
He's coming
You'd
for you
think
again.
he's never made it. Like the way he talks about social media.
At you.
He can print a million T-shirts. Father Time gonna print a 2 million.
You know what? He should print a new one that says, "I appreciate you, Shannon Sharpe."
Yeah. Appreciate the doubters.
All I know, let's Skip. In the last 2 playoff games, 0 touchdowns and an interception.
Yeah.
Now that's fact, Jenny.
He's not going anywhere.
That's right.
You're gonna have to get used to it.
Shannon Sharpe, at your current age, would have been a better tight end for Tom Brady than what they had last year. At your current age,
Ben Watson was just fine.
You and all the guys from Dorchester. All right. Let's talk about LeBron, shall we? LeBron and the Lakers are 5 games ahead of the Clippers in the West, but Kawhi Leonard and the Clips have beaten the Lakers both times they've played this season, and yes, we know that. But Kawhi also won the first ever All-Star Game Kobe Bryant MVP award as a member of Team LeBron over the weekend. So Shannon, how much does Kawhi winning this award heat up the Clippers-Lakers rivalry?
None, 0, zilch, because he won it as a member of what, Skip? We picked him.
LeBron.
It's something to be sad about. When you Skip, you feel a set of, I'm sure Dan Reeves has a special sense that I drafted that kid and he went to the Hall of Fame. I drafted Steve Atwater. He went to the Hall. You feel a sense of pride.
So you're taking credit for this?
No. LeBron. Team LeBron. Team LeBron. Skip, why LeBron, I can see if the thing was controversial. LeBron had 28, 10, and 5, and Kawhi had 35 and 6, and they gave it to Kawhi. Okay, maybe. LeBron's like, man, I think I should have won that one. And he'd have been tied with Kobe for 4 MVP awards. But there was nothing, if they had given the award to Chris Paul, I'm not going to stand up on the podium like Kawhi was robbed, because I thought Chris Paul played really well. He was 7-11 from the 3-point line. But in an All-Star game, I'm going to get upset and it's going to cause the rivalry to become even more heated because they're in the basement and we're on the top floor. We let them out every so often. But see what happens. Boston did what they're supposed to do right to them. Now we're going to take care of Boston on Sunday.
So we're going to hinge our whole argument on the one game right before the All-Star break, that it went double overtime and they got robbed on a call.
That ain't the rob.
Yes, it was.
But
Lou Williams made the three. We should have had the free throw to win the game.
We went to overtime against the Nuggets because you know that's what you say.
And the reason you went to overtime is because the guy without a clutch gene again missed a last-second shot that he should have driven to the hole to shoot the free throw.
We wanted dramatic. We wanted dramatic. Well, your guy was shooting jumpers and was missing. So why didn't he drive it to the hole? But we're not talking about that, Skip. We're talking about the All-Star game and the MVP that Kawhi won, and I have no problem with that. But I don't think this raises the bar or all of a sudden now it's going to become even more contentious because Kawhi is the Kobe Bryant All-Star MVP and LeBron wasn't. I don't think that does anything for it. At the end of the day, Skip, the day of reckoning is coming. The day of reckoning is coming.
I agree with that.
You and the Clippers are going to have to see me and the Lakers. And it's not going to be pretty. So I just want you to know the day's coming. Judgment Day is coming. And you're going to have to stand, you're going to have to sit before me, Skip, and you're going to have to give an account for all that stuff that you've been saying all year long, or how you come out here with the jersey on, you like Kawhi, and you put your feet up on it there, I got who like the orthopedic shoe now.
I love those shoes.
Your day is coming, buddy. Your day is coming.
You rock them well.
And when old Coach...
Thank you. Hey.
Last
They
man
make me
standing.
faster. They make me stronger. There's nothing like those shoes.
None of that.
New Balance. Who knew it?
You wish you had a pair.
But see, you know what? Hey, can we spin around there and look at his chair? He wore those shoes yesterday. Look at his chair and look at Jenny's in my chair.
Oh,
I ain't gonna bring it up, but I'm just saying.
Hey.
All I'm saying.
Why call it the chair? He's trying something new.
Look at his chair and look at Jenny's in our chair.
What does that have to do with anything?
He wore them orthopedics.
Oh,
and he ain't been the same since. Now.
Okay, I'm going to leave that lay for now.
Please.
And I'm going to say exactly what I just said about the previous topic, about this topic.
What?
You in the sports world are missing the boat and missing the point about what is going on right now between Kawhi Leonard and LeBron James.
What?
Kawhi Leonard is not getting near enough credit for challenging and dethroning LeBron James right before your very eyes because it just keeps happening. But because Kawhi Leonard says next to nothing to the media, nobody gets the story. Nobody seizes upon it the way they would if he were a motor mouth who kept feeding the beast of the media with quotes day after day after day about I'm coming for you, LeBron, and I'm about to dethrone you, because that's what is happening. What did we see happen on July the 5th? What happened right before our very eyes?
He was a free agent. He chose to go with the
Clippers. Did he? And did every known reporter report that he's going to the Lakers, right? Everybody who came on this show, oh, he's going Lakers. Everybody who's close with LeBron James said LeBron was convinced he was coming to L.A., to the Lakers.
To the Lakers,
And what would that have done to the balance of power in the National Basketball? It would have been over, right? We'd be having no conversations right now. And in the 11th hour, soon after a real earthquake here in Southern California, another sort of figurative earthquake happened. I look up and I see, wait a second.
They measured about the same.
I think they measured the same, if not a little bigger on the Kawhi end. And the first one was 6. Might
have been 7,
Seven, something like that. It was a
big one.
Ask my wife about it, because she's still shook up.
Really?
Yep. She's still, I think she hides under the table every other night thinking, was that one?
Freaky out around here. Ooh.
So, what did he do? He pulled the wool over LeBron's eyes. I think even you agree he bamboozled LeBron James, thanks to, in part to Uncle Dennis.
Well, I think the thing, what was happening, Skip, he was negotiating with two teams. He was negotiating with the Lakers and the Clippers. Clippers, can you pull this off? Can you get me Paul George? If you can get me Paul George, I'm in play. If you can't get me Paul George, I'm not going. Even though the team won 48 games, he knew he needed another superstar.
Okay. Was anybody reporting that?
No.
Nope. Because he talks to nobody.
Yes.
He has no friends in the media. Am I right?
Yep.
And all of a sudden, he left the Lakers high and dry, or you could even say low and dry, and they scrambled, and they did. Rob Pelinka did an extraordinary job of scrambling.
Yes.
Because he threw together some veterans, and they are very good.
Yep.
I still think the Clippers are a little better, but the only reason we're even having this conversation is because Kawhi is a Clipper. And what happened on opening night? Lakers versus Clippers at Staples. What happened in the middle of the game? live on TNT drops an ad by New Balance in which Kawhi has co-signed on the sort of the motif of it's now Kawhi Town.
It ain't.
Was that not the theme of the
Yeah, you
Okay.
keep hyping that, but that's not.
Okay, but he even showed the keychain was dangling with a crown on the end of it, right? Like, I'm the new king.
Why did he have a keychain with a hand? He the claw. He ain't the king.
Did that not take some audacity, some guts? Again, he doesn't back it up off the court with his interviews because you don't even know what he's thinking. But he showed you. He didn't say it. He did it.
Let me ask you a question.
Did he not do that commercial?
He did the commercial.
Okay. Did it not resonate with you? Like,
No.
wow.
I didn't pay no attention.
Yeah, you didn't.
You didn't notice
no.
it? Turned it
Yeah.
off?
No.
Turned the channel?
He's exiting in his classic car, and the exit says Kawhi Town, and it's Los Angeles. Are you kidding me? It's
bold.
Who would say that?
Everybody knows LA is a Laker town.
Okay, well, you're saying that, but he's doing it. He's showing you, I got this.
Well, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. As soon as the Lakers win the title, the Hollywood sign is coming down and Laker Nation is going up.
All right, that's
Can't
fine.
take the Hollywood
now
side.
you got to do it.
Add
But then
to it.
What happened on Sunday night? I think the most underplayed story of the year happened because Kawhi was much closer to Kobe than LeBron was until maybe the last couple of weeks of Kobe's life.
Yeah.
And nobody really knew it because Kawhi doesn't gush about it.
Right.
He doesn't really talk
Right.
at all. He
Very
talked
close.
a little bit after the game.
Right.
They were very close to the point that he was like a brother, a little brother. 13 years the junior of Kobe.
Right.
LeBron, six years the junior. Okay, so
Yeah.
13 years. He was like a little brother. They were very close. And he goes out and gets hot, I think, fueled by the spirit of Kobe and the spirit of the night. And the fact that that award is now the Kobe Bryant Memorial Trophy for
Bron will win it
golf.
next year.
Okay, but it was the first year with
That's right.
Kobe. I mean, this was extraordinary. You want to talk about drama king?
mean,
this was drama, and he pulled it off.
I mean, the first, that's great. I mean, but the first guy, does anybody remember who won the first Heisman? Or who won the first? Come on, Skip, stop
Okay,
here.
but it was such a great story, and the media underplayed it because the media didn't know enough about
Let me ask you a
it.
question. Let me ask you a
How close
question. If LeBron wins the award, does it hype anything?
If he had won that?
Yeah.
Oh, because the world thinks that they were like this and that now
No, but-
LeBron
but-
has said,
but what-
I will continue your legacy.
But my point is, if LeBron wins the Kobe Bryant, the inaugural Kobe Bryant All-Star MVP, does that heighten the tension between the Clippers and the Lakers?
No, it would have taken some away, but unfortunately for you, Kawhi keeps backing it up and backing it up and backing it up.
You do realize we won that award last year, right?
Okay, but it wasn't
We
the
got
Kobe
3 of them.
Bryant Memorial.
We got 3 of them.
Okay, so what? What's your point?
My point is, Skip, it's an all-star
By the
game.
way, who now has 2 Finals MVPs and who's on track to bypass LeBron would be the 29-year-old guy. He's right in position, but he doesn't talk a big game, so you don't have to react to what he says.
LeBron talk about his game?
Does he post about his game?
25,
Yes.
20, It's not my fault that Kawhi got a flip phone and you can't do social
Okay,
media on
well,
flip phones.
And he does how much social media? How about none?
Well, LeBron has figured this thing out. Guess who else does? Jumpman's on social media. So he's figured it out. There's money to be made. Well, then why was Uncle Dennis always coming and pandering and talking about give me endorsement deals, guarantee me this?
I'll give you that. But it was quiet. It was under the
It was
table.
under
It
the
was
table.
underreported. Okay? It was.
Goat James has figured this thing out, Skip. He's engaging. He reaching people. I mean, every once in a while he have a Q&A where he talk to people and people get an opportunity. His 60 million followers. He need to break me off by 10 million of those. But anyway, he reach out and talk. That's what people want to see. They want to talk to the GOAT. Kawhi don't talk.
Kawhi is so quiet off the court and so loud on the court. Night after night, he's loud on the court. He's doing it with his
Athlete of the
actions.
decade.
Yeah.
Who was that? Did Kawhi Leonard play in the decade? So I want to know why Kawhi Leonard wasn't athlete of the decade.
I want to know why Tom Brady wasn't.
We're gonna talk about. We'll talk about that a little later.
Well, you think
know
you can
why?
find that out.
You know why?
I do not
Oh,
know
Goat
why. We're going
James.
to talk about that in just a couple of minutes.
Go James.
Yep.
He owns who
Goat
he is,
James.
which is refreshing.
Yeah, and
He
LeBron-
doesn't need social.
And LeBron means skip the man.
knows who he
Got
is.
to open the school. He'll take stance on issues that
Okay.
other athletes will stay away from.
Go, LeBron, go. But all of a sudden, there's a team in the basement at Staples, led by a guy who, in the biggest moments, is playing the biggest.
No. What happens is when they play the Lakers, but see, that's what they're going to run into. So what happens when they don't play the Lakers? Well, where was Kawhi in the fourth quarter in double overtime when he played the Celtics?
He had a bad game.
Oh, whoa, nothing to see. You see what you did, Jenny? Now, you see, when Kawhi had a bad game. LeBron can't have a bad quarter. LeBron has a bad quarter, he's unclutched. Then Joker had a bad, 10, 12 minutes?
Where was LeBron in the fourth quarter of the first game against the Clippers? And then where was LeBron in game 2 against the Clippers? He had a bad game. And then where was he in the game at Denver in the fourth quarter and overtime? I don't know.
Where Kawhi? Kawhi missed 13 games before the All-Star game.
Yep.
Yeah.
So where was Kawhi?
He's going to be healthy for the playoffs. I'm not going to.
What about Paul George? He going to be healthy?
About him.
Oh, what about Pat Beal? He going to be healthy?
You got 2 chances to survive.
I got plenty of chances. There go my 2 chances right there.
Paul George will not be healthy and Pat Bev will not be healthy. Then you got a shot.
Oh, there's my chances right there. The 3-2-3.
Yeah.
Everybody know the 3-2-3 is the real LA area code.
Help me out. Did Paul George play in game 1 against the Lakers? Did he play?
I don't
Nope,
believe
he
so.
did not play.
Okay.
And guess who won? Well, thanks to the guy on the far right scoring 0 points in the fourth quarter and the guy there with 23 on scoring 2 points in the fourth quarter, Kawhi by himself beat both of those 3-2-3s.
And what happened?
Yep.
You saw a microcosm. Wednesday night, almost a week ago.
Yep.
What it's going to be like next go round. And in the playoffs. Because them 2 guys took it over.
Is AD going to make 2 3-pointers in the overtime to beat the Clippers?
We're going to do whatever is necessary, by any means necessary.
Yeah.
So it might be the post-up game.
Either way, we got time before the playoffs.
The world is starting to zero in on the fact that guy, number 2, has called out that guy, number 2.
Well, he need to call like Jason.
Called him out.
Well, 2 for the Clippers need to call like Jason Tatum and Marcus Smart. They took turns putting it on him.
All right.
Did it happen?
Lakers back in action Friday.
I owned it. I told you had a bad
When
game.
you ever see one guy, they fighting over the ball. Marcus Smart and Jason Tatum fight. No, you had him last time. You bust him up with a 3. Let me get him.
And for all that, it came down to a robbery call in which Lou Williams, the closer for the Clippers, we haven't even mentioned
hold on.
He made a 3 and got fouled by Gordon
Wait
Hayward.
a minute. How's a 2-time defensive player of the year, a 2-time finals MVP, not the closer? Where they do that at? And a 6th man is your closer?
Well, I'll tell you what, I trust him in big games a lot more than I trust those 2 on the right.
No. Skip, if he was on their team, if he was on the Lakers team, you'd have a very compelling argument. But he's on that team. So why are you trusting a 6th man more than you're trusting a finals MVP?
Because he's always been there.
Kawhi.
And he's not a 6th man. He's a starter masquerading as a bench player.
What are you masquerading? All I'm saying is, but you keep, I see all these things. Kawhi Leonard and Michael Jordan is the only 2 guys to win finals MVP, defensive player of the year, and all-star game. Yada.
Thanks for bringing that up.
But then why is Lou Williams closing? Because Lou Williams has won none of those awards.
All right.
He was born to close.
All right, the Lakers back in action Friday, Clippers on Saturday. Couple days until then. This clearly got us going.
I thought we got the Grizzlies on Thursday.
Friday, I believe.
Friday.
Unless I have the day. No, Friday.
All right.
Yeah.
We'll get to
Couple
John.
more days, Shannon.
We'll get to John.
No mercy.
Mike Trout is the latest and now biggest MLB star to speak out against the Astros cheating scandal. The 3-time MVP said he has lost respect for the Astros and took issue with the fact that no players were punished for the scandal, despite it being a, quote, player-driven thing. Fox Sports contributor Rob Parker, who has covered the sport for years, is now with us. But Skip, you also covered baseball for years. I know you know it well.
Years, even longer than Rob Parker has covered baseball.
Skip don't have a Hall of Fame vote, though, which is ridiculous.
Either way.
Should have had one, Skip.
Well, some people say it's ridiculous that you have.
I agree with those.
Sorry, we're getting off topic.
We are. I do want to start with you, Skip,
Thank you.
because of the history there. And I just want to ask you, did the Astros deserve more punishment than what they got?
They do not deserve any more punishment. And Lord knows they've been condemned enough by rival players. And this angers me beyond anger because, again, to Jenny's point, I started covering the Dodgers in the middle 1970s here in L.A. for the L.A. Times. And then I covered the Texas Rangers for years in Dallas-Fort Worth, and then I covered the Cubs and the White Sox for several years in Chicago, and I covered Barry Bonds and the Giants for several years in the Bay Area. I have lived around baseball teams for many, many days in my career, so I know what the score is here. They're all these players bashing the Astros right now, they're all hypocrites because they all have been trying to steal signs for all their careers. It's what you're taught to do as a Little League player. You try to steal the steal sign from the third base coach. Or by the very nature of the game, there's a base called second base. And when you're a runner on second, Rob, what are you taught to do? You try to steal the signs.
And then relay it back to the batter.
You try to relay it back to the batter because you have a bird's eye view right down the line, right from behind the pitcher. You can see the catcher's signals. It is the responsibility of the catcher and the pitcher to constantly change up their signs, tapping their shin guards, tapping their mask, with their chest protector. You have to constantly stay ahead of the curve because sign stealing is a beloved sacred art in baseball. It's been going on for 100 years in baseball, and since the advent of televised baseball in the late 1950s, everybody's been trying to use the outfield cameras to ascertain the signals of the catcher. It's on you to continue to change your signaling patterns, or they will be stolen. And obviously, Rob, as you well know, both of you guys well know, if you know fastball or breaking ball, you have a huge advantage over the pitcher. So it's up to you. The onus is on you to continue to switch up and maybe fool those trying to steal your signs into guessing wrong on curveball, fastball, right? So in the end, it's not cheating to steal signs. It's competing. It's what you do. And the reason that Rob Manfred, the commissioner, was not able to punish players by suspending him is baseball is complicit in this and was from the very start. And I don't even mean that in a bad way. I just mean it's the fabric and nature of baseball to try to steal signs. Were the Astros doing anything completely out of the ordinary? They're banging on the trash can. One for a fastball. Bang. I don't know if they're doing two for a curve.
Right.
Three for a slider.
Okay, three for a slider. It's the trash can. Bang. Really? We've come to that in 2017, 2018.
And it worked for a World Series.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did it really? Was it not incumbent upon the rival team, the Dodgers, to switch up their signals? Did the Dodgers ever fool the Astros by switching their signals? Maybe they banged wrong on the trash can. Is that possible? Now, again, if you went to a buzzer underneath the blouse or the jersey top, you got me. That's a little over the edge, but that was never proven.
But you got to admit that video of Altuve.
Okay, it looks suspicious.
Off of Chapman to walk off in the ninth inning.
Rob Manfred was in the ESPN interview that I watched. Yeah. He was adamant that we researched that and investigated it to its core, and we found no evidence of using a buzzer underneath the jersey top. So in the end, how can you punish the Astro players for doing what they were taught to do? Trust me, from day one in the minor leagues, what did they teach you to do? Steal the signs. What was I taught to do seriously in Little League Baseball when I'm standing on second base? You're trying to steal the catcher's signs. And the only way to eliminate this in the total end, if we want to use our technology, we need to go to the football system of what happens in football. The offensive coordinator has direct audio contact with quarterback.
And why is that?
Okay, because everybody's trying to steal the signals.
Yes, that's a gate.
Right.
That's what that was for.
And Skip, your point on stealing signs.
Okay, but that was about stealing signals, right?
Yeah. They said, we don't got a problem. If you could stand on the sideline and you could decipher that they're coming with a 3-down scan and they're coming with a max blitz or zero blitz, okay. Right. But you can't use video.
Okay. And Skip, that's where I really new part. I get what you're saying because that is a part of baseball. But the technology part of it is what separates. Everybody's not using the technology in that. And this is what the other thing is. It's organizational cheating. This is why this is a problem and why, to me...
Everybody's tried to use outfield cameras.
But not, Skip, no one's gotten caught like this.
Okay, they did get caught.
They got caught red-handed. And here's the other thing that I think... I'm with you. This is why I think the players are banging on the commissioner.
Why, yeah.
And I think this is where they're wrong. They've sent out a memo to all the teams about this, and about that the general manager and the manager would be held accountable, because it's like a company, Skip. If you allow your employees to cut corners to save money, and then you develop a product that winds up that's faulty, you don't go back to the guy who made the thing. This is what was allowed to happen inside.
But he's gonna lose his job too, though, Rob.
No, but I'm saying, here's the other part that's unprecedented, that we've never seen. Players going after other players. This is the strongest union in this country.
It is.
Okay.
Skip, they've never gone after steroid guys. They've never gone after anybody with this.
Okay, I'm going to ask you another question.
Okay, never. And the commissioner knew what kind of fight he would be with the union in order, right, to say, Shannon, you know what the signs are, right? You know what's going on. Can I prove that you used it when you at the bat, when you at the plate?
Yeah.
I can't prove that you used it, is what I'm saying.
Mike Cyphers, Skip, the pitcher, you got firsthand knowledge. See, I don't have to have somebody where I think they're doing it. We got a pitcher that says this is what they did and this is how they were doing it.
I get that, but I could be an individual player who said, I didn't use that.
Yeah.
It was available to me. I did not use that when I came to the plate.
Well, I only heard three players say they didn't use it.
No,
everybody else talking about. I want to talk about the team.
Do you think the Houston Astros were the first team in the history of baseball to have some organized way to steal signs? Everybody's had it for years. I'm going back to the Yankees of the 50s and 60s. Trust me, they had some systematic way they're trying to steal signs.
Yeah, Skip, if you can.
They were. I've heard it from every team I was around. They're all doing it.
Skip, if you can steal signs, if you can recall, okay, like Carlos Delgado said, what I did is that the pitcher, the sequence, Tony Gwynn, they studied like, okay, this is what the pitcher likes to pitch me in certain pitches. This is what they do to me in certain situations, yada, yada, yada. If you can recall that over 5, 6, 10 years, okay, I get it. But Skip, you can't during the course of the game go look at the video
and then
relay that back. You can't do that.
That's still different from trying to get a peek, Skip.
Yes.
Trying to figure it out. I get all that.
Okay, we need a new rule. We need a new rule. Any runner on second has to wear a blindfold.
No,
I'm serious.
No,
well, that's what you're telling me.
No, if a catcher's lazy or if a catcher doesn't hide his signal, that's on him.
Okay, so what's the difference?
Even during the
video, you can't hide it from the video camera.
You can't hide it.
Come on, Skip.
Okay, you can't hide it from the guy on second either. You have to keep changing your signals.
Skip.
No, I get that. And you know what? Rich Hill did say that when he pitched for the Dodgers.
You didn't let me finish.
He changed his signal.
Okay, he did. It's coming to this. You need some earbud in the catcher's ear and an earbud in the pitcher's ear, because guess who calls the pitches most of the time? Either the bench coach or the manager. Yeah. They're calling the pitches. Right. They're signaling the catcher to signal the pitcher.
Right.
So what if we eliminate the middleman, the catcher, and the bench coach just puts up his cardboard, like his scorecard, up like this, like they do.
Like they do in the NFL, right?
Fastball away.
Or do like college where they hold up by 7 or 8 signs.
Okay.
Guess which one it is.
Okay, but all he has to do is say fastball away. And now the catcher knows, so he's not going to get crossed up, and the pitcher knows fastball away. And we've eliminated any ability to steal the sign.
But Skip, here's the thing where Rob Manfred made it worse. When he said a piece of metal.
Well, no doubt about it.
Skip, you can't say that because that's what everybody plays for. And I tell you, but here's the problem that I got. Because they said, we're going to hold these managers, we're going to hold managers, we're going to hold general managers. Skip, what transpired in the late 80s in Oakland? Who's the manager?
Tony La Russa.
Is he in the Hall of Fame?
Yes.
Was he held accountable? Because it started on his watch. Mm-hmm. What happened? McGuire and Canseco started on his watch, and everybody knew it.
Was that cheating?
And not only that, all of those managers all got in the Hall of Fame, but they held the players out.
Yes.
And that's
so
not
now,
fair. And that's
now we're going to hold the managers because who's benefiting from it? And I've heard pitchers say, you know what? Let me face a guy with steroids because he still has to hit the ball. Yeah. This is when a guy knows what I'm going to throw.
It's a different game.
Mike Trout said, shoo, I sure would have a lot of fun if I knew exactly what the pitcher was going to be every time I went up to bat.
And if you change your signals, you can cross them up.
Skip.
Am I right?
Yes, but Skip.
Been going on for 100 years.
But you can't exonerate the Astros. And I'm going to predict this. They've damaged and hurt so many people, not just workers like who lost out on earning money, like if they played another playoff series. players who lost, Aaron Judge, who lost out on the MVP. And
Hall of Fame.
The Houston Astro fans who their great moment has been ripped from them and tarnished. If you're a fan, you don't feel the same way about that. I guarantee you.
All I know, nobody from the Astros better be in the Hall of Fame.
I believe they will be booed opening day in their own building.
Skip, I put it to you like this here, Skip.
You're not getting
Skip, I hear intimate conversation. I overhear that. That's one thing. But to bring tapes in and to record your conversation is something entirely different.
It's illegal.
Thank you. It's illegal what they did.
How did we jump to that?
Because I'm saying, if I can Skip.
Wait, do you think the Dodgers were trying to steal the Astros signs? Help me out. Do you think they were? You better believe they were.
With video equipment?
Yeah.
No.
Everybody's used video.
You think everybody's done exactly what the Astros did, Skip? I don't believe that.
The teams I've been around, but every team I've been around had some sort of video attempt from the outfield camera to steal the signs. You can call it systematic or not.
They were banging.
They're banging
cans?
on a trash can. Really? This is 2020.
Well, let me ask you a question. If the Astros were at the heart of it, how is their investigation wrapped and it's still going on in Boston?
I don't know. It's a good question.
Because they said that they don't believe it was the same exact.
And obviously in 2017, the commissioner issued an edict, stop this between the Yankees and Red Sox. No more attempted sign stealing, which has been part of baseball for 100 years.
Well, but the Red Sox had an iPhone. What did they have? Apple Watch. And the Yankees complained. The Yankees complained in 2017 as well against the Astros. There were complaints. Skip, I don't disagree.
Wait a second. Did the Astros steal signs when they were playing at Dodger Stadium?
No.
Okay, were they banging on the trash can there? No, they weren't because they didn't have their video equipment, right? So what happened on the road? They had to play 81 games a year on the road, right?
What happened? They had a better. Hold on. What happened this year? They had a better team. They had Garrett Cole. They had Verlander. They had all those guys at the top of the order. And got the brakes beat off them. It's amazing what all of a sudden. It showed. Look here. All I know is that one team, before Spygate, they was winning Super Bowls every year. And then all of a sudden, it took them a 10-year span to get back. I ain't saying.
I'm glad you brought that up.
But that ain't nothing about, I don't even know why I brought that up.
No, I'm glad you brought it up.
About baseball.
I'm glad you brought it up because this is the one thing that kills me, is that the Patriots are held to the same standard. You got little league teams that don't even want to wear the Astros uniforms. That's what they're associated with. The Patriots have gotten a pass. Tom Brady was suspended. Bill Belichick was fined the most money of any coach in the history of the National Football League.
He was caught red-handed.
And nobody makes a big stink about it.
But here's the thing. I just want to know one thing. If you steal signs, do not the players benefit? It's the batter that's in the batter's back.
There's no doubt.
So stealing the signs, the signals, did the quarterback not benefit?
Absolutely he did.
Shannon Sharpe, if you had played for the Astros, would you have tried to steal signals?
No.
Stop it.
I'm doing good.
If it was in place, would you have used it? Like if they knew what was going on?
Look,
do you think you would have used it? I'm just curious.
I don't, Skip. I don't know if the Broncos, if Mike and Coob, they got signals. All I know is this is what we expect on third down. This is what we expect on second down. This is what we expect at this down and distance. And I just went with that. I got no other signal. Now, if I heard something, I'm listening on the field to hear defensive signals and things like that. If I can pick up something, I'm going to take it back over to Mike. I'm going to take it back to Garrett and says, okay, we're in this formation. This area of the field, this is what they're doing.
Well, there's always this going on also. Norv Turner told me right after the first Cowboys Super Bowl of the 90s, in which they beat Buffalo the first time out here in Pasadena, he said they stole all of our signals the whole day on offense. They knew run or pass every down the whole day, and it was a wipeout. You know why? Because Dallas was just way better than Buffalo.
Well, here's the thing.
Which
you only got two options. If you're on the football field, what you gonna do, Rob? You either gonna throw it or run it. So I got a 50% chance of getting it right.
Help me out. Does it give you a big advantage to know run or pass? You better believe it does.
But it doesn't.
Not as big as what pitch is coming.
What about what defense you gonna be in?
That gives them definitely
advantage. But sometimes
that's why Tom Brady's won so much.
Some fastballs are so electric that if you tell me it's a fastball, it's still going to be really hard to hit.
I tell you what. Let Mike Trout go up there and tell Mike Trout is going to be a fastball. It's going to be a changeup. It's going to be a slider or breaking and see if he can hit it. What you think Mike Trout will hit if he know the pitches that's coming?
And he doesn't say a lot either. So for him to
even come out and
tell his opinion.
But I would like to see him win something before he's...
Hold on, wait a minute. So this is how you try to...
This is a fascinating discussion.
So now I see how you try to combat my arguments. He got cameras in my dressing room and Steve and I talking. I knew something was up, Skip Bayless.
cameras.
I knew it.
No
I knew it.
You know what? The camera's right outside my head.
Ain't no camera. You using
I
technology.
can predict what you're going to say before you say it.
I knew it. Steve.
No
I know it all.
Bring Steve
Check
out
the
here.
room.
He's wired. He got.
As a matter of fact, we scrub. Hey, Shank, I need my dressing room
We don't
scrubbed.
need any cameras.
It's been bugged.
Rob, thank you for coming in.
No mercy.
Steelers coach Mike Tomlin came to Mason Rudolph's defense yesterday after Myles Garrett doubled down on his claim that Rudolph used a racial slur which ignited their on-field brawl last season. And former Browns GM John Dorsey told the Akron Beacon-Journal that the Browns defensive lineman told him about the alleged racial slur right after the incident occurred. Former NFL cornerback Orlando Scandrick is joining us now. So, Orlando, what is your gut feeling on Garrett's accusation?
It's an excuse. I think it's an excuse for the action. I don't know whether he said it or not. What I do know is there was multiple other players around, and none of them made the accusation. So I'm not going to sit up here today and guess and say he said it, he didn't say it. I mean, I know there was multiple other people. No one else said it. Maybe he whispered it. But I truly believe it was an excuse for his actions.
Okay, but if it did get uttered, if it were uttered, it's not an excuse, right?
It still is an excuse. I don't think that it's two wrongs don't make a right. I know it's
the worst wrong I know.
Yeah, I mean, no wrong is worse than the next. But if he did say it, it's no place in the game. It's no place in the world for things like that. We've come way too far in the world. But I think it truly was an excuse for what he did. That doesn't give it like justification. If there's no, do you agree? You think there's justification if that word was uttered?
Well, Skip and I, we jumped on this. I think we had it that Thursday night, and Skip and I, we did it like 2 or 3 times that Friday. And I was trying to come to the realization of why he did what he did, and I expected him to be suspended for the rest of the year. So he got the punishment that I thought. But I agree. I think for me, I think by putting this out there, when you put this word out there, people are like, okay, well, that explains it.
Yeah.
Oh, I ain't got no problem with him doing what he did. And I think he's using that as a crutch.
I do.
I just, and there's no, for me, once it's been handled, you've gone through the process, you've served your suspension, you get reinstated. What's the purpose of bringing it back up?
That's what I think. I think just to continue, that's why I say it's an excuse. But I think that it may or may not have been used. But, I mean, I think you take your punishment, you take it like a man. You ask for forgiveness, which you did, and you be a role model to those kids, because the first thing he said was, I let down my teammates, I let down the organization, I let down everyone that I'm a role model to, and then here we are months later, we're still using an excuse. So it's like okay to be like, give me forgiveness, but this is the reason why.
Right.
Okay, this is what I find fascinating right here. You were raised in rural South Georgia. You had one reaction to this. You were raised in Los Angeles. Which neighborhood?
South Central.
South Central, okay. You're having a very different reaction to this than he has had from day one.
Yeah.
Because to you, you're live and let live, even if the word did get uttered in the heat of battle. I'm with him. I'm old school, and it's the most evil word in the language to me. I've said,
but it's 2020 now.
Okay. This is.
And it still cuts the same way as 1950, 1800s.
Right.
It cut the same.
I agree. I agree with you. But when you reach a certain level and you cross certain bridges, it don't do you no good to look backwards. Nothing good came out of that. If he said it or if he did it, like, did he get his point across? If Mason said it, is he never gonna say it again because of what he did to him?
Yeah, he didn't get it right. I don't want to do hypothetical that he said it, Skip, because I'm going to trust. Look, and I know everybody is not as trusting in the NFL, Skip, because they've had some issues that would cause you to not trust them in how they do an investigation. So we can all agree on that. But in this situation, Skip, I believe they did their due diligence, and Orlando, you and I agree. I believe he said he didn't say it immediately after the game because he didn't want to use that as a justification for him doing what he did.
That's what he said.
But in the OTL interview, he did that for the justification for doing what he did.
Absolutely.
Because that's why you keep bringing it back up. What do you hope is going to happen? The NFL will reinvestigate and say, you know what, Mason, you did do it. So now we're going to give you 6 games on top of the 50. Come on, man.
So 24 hours ago, I was leaning more toward you, and it sounds like an excuse to me, a justification. And the more I read and the more I hear, I'm somewhere torn back in the middle, because I'm starting to think there was a chance that word, the most evil word in the language, did get uttered in the heat of battle by Mason Rudolph.
But what about the 3 or 4 other people around it?
Okay.
Right there.
Did he whisper it?
Yeah, I mean, that's something you whisper.
Remember, when you take a man down to the ground and you are literally face to face with him because he dragged, you just threw him down and was down on top of him. You know, and I know, you can be nose to nose with him and you could say something nobody else could hear.
I get it. But here's my thing, Skip. If Mason Rudolph called him that, why is Mason Rudolph trying to take his helmet off? Why is Mason Rudolph trying to...
Because of the action that happened before?
I know,
the initial action?
Yeah, that's my point. I believe that's what he's upset about.
He thought it was a cheap sack because they didn't even block Miles Garrett because it was a screen pass to end the football game and it was over. It was
so he roughs the guy, and then the person who gets roughs is upset about it, and then when he's laying on the ground, he's calling him the wrong word, but trying to take his helmet off, and then that causes Myles Garrett to black out and go into this rage and try to hit somebody with a helmet. Essentially try to kill him.
Okay.
Literally.
But is it possible Myles Garrett just didn't know how to handle it post-game? Because the way this man would have handled it,
I'm telling you.
He's telling everybody.
I'm telling.
But how many, I don't even, what is it, like a crime of passion?
Yeah, but I'm telling you. But see, my thing, the way I would have handled it, I'm going to be 100 with you. I'd have been there. I'd have been swinging on him. I was like, yeah, I bet you won't call me another N-word. I bet you after that one, call me another one, and I'm going to get you again.
He did swing on him.
Yes.
You know that.
But out of but here's the thing. You know in the community, when somebody calls you out of your name, you start to get into it, call me another one.
Yeah, but I think that you handle it different when I don't believe it happened.
I don't either.
Going with my gut feeling, I do not believe that word was used. But I'm not going to say that it wasn't or it was because it's really not for me. But I think so many months later, like Unc said, what is the point of keep bringing it up?
Bring that up?
Why are you still bringing this up? You reinstated and you still bringing this up?
Why would the now ex-GM John Dorsey of the Cleveland Browns respond via text message to the Akron Beacon-Journal reporter yesterday that it's the truth about what he said?
Did he hear it too?
Well, he says he heard it immediately.
Okay.
He said he heard it immediately.
I mean, when you're sitting there and you looking at GM that drafted you number 1 in the eye or that's believed in you, you got to give him some excuse. You can't say, hey, I'm just an idiot, man. I blacked out. I was selfish. I made a selfish play. I embarrassed everybody. I embarrassed myself.
Okay, so Myles did say his one best friend on the team is Larry Ogunjobi. They were in the same draft class. And they play in the same defensive line. And he said, I did go straight to him in the locker room and tell him about the N-word.
But Larry Ogunjobi was right next to him. He was one of the dudes kicking Mason.
Mm-hmm. Well, he got suspended.
He shoved him down, yeah.
A game, right?
So he didn't hear it?
I don't know.
Pouncey didn't hear it?
I don't know. But the point is, if you told Larry, wouldn't he start to tell other teammates, black and white teammates, wouldn't they start to have your back more in the post-game interviews than they did because nobody had his back?
Because I think what he did was unexcusable. And I'd never seen anything like that. I didn't know if I was watching MMA, UFC, WWE. I didn't know what I was watching. I was so confused.
Okay, so if both of you are right that the word was not uttered, what you're doing to Mason Rudolph's career is unconscionable because you are tearing it down. You are making it nearly impossible for him to continue to operate as the leader of a football team playing the quarterback position.
Why is that?
Because a lot of people are going to look side.
But I don't even think that he can operate as the leader of a football team because I just don't think he's there right now. Well, he ain't ready right now. I don't think.
But I'm saying, to say that word. And like I'm surprised at how people have been so receptive of Richie Incognito, given what his history is. I don't get it.
That's crazy.
I don't get that, Skip. It blows my mind. Now he's come on here several times and sit right there, but I'm looking at him like I still remember what you said.
Yeah.
Well, sure. You know what? The bottom line is he can still play.
Yeah.
Okay, and so they're just accepting he can play.
But he's not a leadership position. Skip.
Yeah, I know. That's true.
But an offensive lineman is different. I'm not excusing what he said because he would been in that locker room when he said or what he was saying. It was going to be a problem. But a quarterback that's in a leadership position.
Yeah, if he did say that, I think that it's going to be really hard because his talent is from where we're talking about the top is.
It's marginal.
It's a little different.
Okay, I got it. But in the end, Mason Rudolph's got only one way out of this. You're going to have to sue him for defamation. Let's go to court under oath. risk of perjury, and let's see what everybody says on the witness stand, right?
I mean, I would like to think that's not the way out. I mean,
You can't keep saying something.
I mean, but I thought Mason may press charges on him the next day.
Yeah.
That's what I said.
But he didn't. And I think, like you said, it's going to come down to if he really didn't say it, he's going to have to do something to stop it.
Yeah.
And Coach Tomlin coming to his defense the way he did, he didn't have to do that. He really didn't have to do that.
Sticky.
It's a he said right now, and we are no further.
No corroborating. Nobody heard it.
Although the NFL, for the record, did investigate it.
Correct.
To its core.
Right.
It said the NFL, and we found zero evidence.
If they sue, would there be a new investigation? How would that work?
I want all audio from the game. Starting at the time they put the mics on the back of the jersey.
Yeah.
I want everything.
Yeah.
No mercy.
In just 4 days, don't miss the most anticipated title fight in years. Undefeated heavyweight champ Deontay Wilder takes on 29-0 Tyson Fury in the rematch the sports world has been waiting for. Saturday at 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific. Buy it now on pay-per-view or the Fox Sports app. Plus, don't miss a special appearance by both fighters on The Masked Singer tomorrow on Fox. How about that? Well, another boxer feels like he hasn't been appreciated for his success. Floyd Mayweather went on the Drink Champs podcast and took issue with LeBron James being named the AP Male Athlete of the Decade, while the boxer has never won the award. Check it out.
I love LeBron James. When we talk about Athlete of the Decade, that's me. That's me hands down. How can I dominate? I dominated and I'm still active, basically. We talking about from 1996 to 2020, and I've never received Athlete of the Decade at the top in Forbes, and I'm my own boss. No Gatorade behind me, no Sprite behind me, no Nike behind me. These are billion-dollar companies, and we like to call it placement. So if they paying, you get what you want if you paying enough. But we going off just honestly, I'm the Athlete of the Decade. No, that's of the last 2 decades, actually.
Yeah, I respect that.
Wow, Shannon, does Floyd have a case here?
Skip, he makes a compelling argument. I understand that Floyd is undefeated, 50-0, and in the decade of the last decade, he had 10 fights. And Skip, it's hard if Floyd was active. A lot of people say that Floyd just picked his fighters, and they say, well, LeBron picked where he want to go. But it's not like LeBron can say, okay, Warriors, you won 73 games, but we don't want to play you guys in the finals. We want to play the Rockets, or we want to play the Spurs. Because Floyd had that luxury. Floyd got an opportunity to pick who he wanted to fight. He makes a compelling argument, Skip. I mean, undefeated is undefeated, even though he only had 10 fights. But it's just hard. Floyd has never been Athlete of the Year. Skip, how can you be Athlete of the Decade and you've never been Athlete of the Year? Skip, I can't win the MVP if I don't make All-Pro. If I don't make the Pro Bowl, how am I going to be MVP? It doesn't. I mean, Floyd. I mean, and I get it. Look, and it's hard for me to believe that, although LeBron has all these corporate dollars, he's heavily endorsed and marketed. It's hard for me to believe that it's like, okay, if you vote for LeBron Athlete of the Decade, it's something sweet. If I don't think AP voters are thinking like that, I really don't. It's hard to argue 8 straight finals, 3 MVPs, 3 finals MVPs. That's every single year, Skip. That's a grind. And if you look at the top guys, it was LeBron and Brady. Some of the other guys, Usain Bolt. When did we talk about Usain Bolt? Olympic. Michael Phelps. When we talk about Michael Phelps? Olympics.
Yeah.
You see the activity, Skip. It's just not the same. I get it, Floyd, but it's just hard for me to believe to see a boxer. If Floyd was probably knocking out people, Skip, I can see that maybe they lean that way, but that's not Floyd's game. And so I don't think I think they got it right. I think LeBron should have been Athlete of the Decade, but Floyd makes a compelling case. I mean, he was 10-0 in the span of that decade. But I just don't, And plus, there are some things that he did off the field out of the ring.
Sure.
LeBron is a different area, Skip. The school and LeBron. We talk about issues other athletes for the longest time have skirted, had dodged. And LeBron seems to be unafraid to talk about anything.
Okay, I'll start there. Floyd's contention is LeBron has Gatorade behind him. He's got Sprite behind him. He's got Nike behind him. Why doesn't Floyd have any of those 3 behind him? Let's just get it out on the table. He has a long history of domestic violence. And because he's brought it up, I have no choice but to rehash.
Right.
So forgive me for piling on, Floyd, but just for those who have lost touch with this, 5-month span, 2001 to 2002, Floyd pleaded guilty to 2 counts of battery domestic violence. Then we go to November 2003, arrested and charged with 2 counts of battery for allegedly fighting with 2 women in a Las Vegas nightclub. Finally, December 2011, Floyd Mayweather pled guilty to 1 count of misdemeanor domestic violence and no contest to 2 counts of harassment, and he was sentenced to 90 days in jail, and he was released after 60 days. It's not pretty. And you're not going to get Gatorade behind you or Nike behind you or Sprite behind you.
Well,
you're just not.
It's kind of hard. Nike is hard, Skip. What is Nike going to sell of a boxer? Boxing trunks? A roll?
Okay, all right. Now, back to inside the ring. My biggest problem with Floyd from the start was, can you please show me a super fight, a mega fight, a challenge? Can you show me a Joe Frazier? Or a George Foreman, or is there a Ken Norton somewhere? Because Ken Norton beat Ali and broke his jaw, okay? Show me one of those and I'll be impressed, because I don't see a single one. If we just do the decade, let's start with Sugar Shane Mosley. I love him, love him. He's a tough guy, but he was 38 years of age.
He was past his prime.
Okay, all right, so there we go. And then I'll go back just a little bit to the De La Hoya fight. It wasn't in the decade, but 07. But come on, Oscar was pretty washed up by then, and it wasn't a pretty fight to watch. It was a split decision, but it wasn't a mega. It didn't come across as mega. And then we got Miguel Cotto. It's okay, pretty good. And he got Canelo when he was still kind of a baby, you know, and he just schooled him.
Right.
And it was, if you watched, which I'm sure you did.
Yeah.
He just danced rings around him, you know, like it wasn't a fair pop all day long. Manny Pacquiao, you know it well. Manny was 36, and Manny tore his rotator cuff before the fight and needed to get it surgically repaired the day after the fight. So I don't know, did it qualify as a mega fight? It looked like it was shaping up to be one, but it really wasn't. And then how about Conor McGregor? Does that qualify? No, it doesn't qualify. No. So that's your decade.
Right.
It's not great enough.
Right.
It's 50-0 is great.
Right.
But to your point, you got to carefully select, and nobody has managed his career better than Floyd has. Nobody has managed his money outside the ring better than Floyd. He's his own man, and he has controlled his business fate, and I honor that.
Yes.
But it's not good enough.
Right.
Which brings me back to LeBron.
I don't think they selected athlete of the decade based on how much money he's made.
But he's maxed that out.
Yeah, he did.
Way to go.
Yeah.
$1 billion.
Yeah, $1 billion. Okay, way to go. Okay, so then it brings me back to LeBron. It's hard for me to defend a LeBron James who, I've already told you all this, but in 2011, first finals with the Heat against Dallas, he melted down the way I've never seen a superstar melt down. You should have been disqualified there. Then in 2013, it took Ray Allen to make the greatest clutch shot I've ever seen to save LeBron's legacy with another finals loss there, which would have dropped him to 2-7 in the finals. And then we can keep going. That first finals against Golden State, they had them. They're up 2-1 at home. Nothing. And it was the Iggy finals. He doesn't like Iggy. The Iguodala finals. And Iguodala inserted in the starting lineup, and LeBron came up real small in his house in Game 4, and you know the rest of the story.
Yeah, you're talking about the man came up small, but the man averaged 35, 13, and 9.
That's because of those first 3 games, which were the 3 greatest games I've ever seen LeBron putting his team on his back play. Because remember, they already didn't have Kevin Love, and they lost Kyrie in overtime in Game 1, right?
Yeah.
But it wasn't great enough to be the athlete of the decade.
Over who?
Tom Brady.
How many times did Tom Brady leave the championship?
Well, he got to 5 Super Bowls and won 3, and in the 4th one that he lost, he set the all-time record for passing yards in a playoff game. 505 and 33 points.
8 straight. 8 straight, Skip, with 3 MVPs, 3 final MVPs.
How about 8 straight AFC championship games?
No.
Is that extraordinary?
No, you got to go 8 straight Super Bowls.
Okay.
8 straight Super Bowls, then we'd have been on to something, Jenny.
But I mean, he won 3 of them, right?
Yeah.
Go James won 3 of them, right?
He did. Okay, I give you
with
that.
With 3 finals MVPs.
Okay, but how about the 4th one? Because LeBron, if I keep going down the list against Golden State, how about the one, Game 1, when he had him dead to rights?
Nah, stop it.
And he doesn't take the last shot, and then he pouts in overtime. and won't shoot for the first 2.5 minutes? That's shameful.
Kind of like the Spurs did.
Yeah.
So you said that's what you told me.
Hey, wait a second. Thank you for bringing up the Spurs, because we left out the 2014 finals in which LeBron lost by a record finals margins to the San Antonio Spurs.
Was it LeBron that lost, or was it the Heat that lost?
Well, wasn't he the best player on the planet?
Oh, okay. I see what you do there. See, when LeBron loses, when LeBron wins, Ray Allen saved his bacon. He ain't mentioned nothing like Ray Allen was on that same team. They got beat by a record margin. He ain't mentioned Chris Bosh. He didn't mention D Wade. He didn't mention Ray Allen. He mentioned LeBron James lost by a record margin.
Spurs had a 40-year-old Tim Duncan and a 39-year-old Manu and a 36-year-old Tony Parker.
First of all, no, they did not.
They did.
They did. First of all, Tony Parker is Tony Parker 40 yet? Tony Parker was in his early 30s, early 30s. Skip, they won. But at this resume, I mean, he up there with Gretzky. Tiger Woods.
Yeah,
Tiger Woods got this.
What resume? I just gave it to you.
Athlete
got a lot of holes in it.
Athlete of the decade. That's what's on his resume. They got a lot of them.
Tom Brady should have been.
No, he should not have.
You know it.
No, he should not have. No, he should not have.
Tom Brady doesn't have a charter school.
Oh, my goodness. So he doesn't have sponsors? Tom Brady didn't get nobody sponsor?
He's got a couple.
Oh, yeah, he got Aston Martin. Got an Aston Martin. Doesn't he do Under Armour?
No.
He does.
Oh, okay.
Well, he does Hulu now.
Yeah, Hulu, yeah. He got all that. Everything that old Goat James got, he got. Maybe to a smaller scale.
The school was very meaningful.
Well,
in terms of AP.
Well, don't pretend, if you want to take a stand, take a stand. Don't have a hat up in your locker and pretend like you don't know it's
Maybe
there.
That
when they ask you a question about, that old thing, what is that? It's like he didn't know it was there.
Chose to not say.
Wait a second. Was his owner not the best friend of the guy in question?
Yes. They didn't ask his owner. They asked him. The owner put it there. So let me get it straight. Mr. Kraft, his dad.
Maybe he was trying to please Daddy.
Whatever. So Mr. Kraft got up in the locker and put his hat up in Tom Brady's
Possible?
locker. No, it's not possible.
Well, he had played golf with the man several times before he was even thinking about running for president.
And he got it right. Go James.
Yeah.
You know, Skip, it's done now. Now we not finna redo this thing and try to find out who the AP voters were. They got it right.
It's done.
8 straight finals. 3 MVPs with finals MVPs to boot.
2011 finals disqualified.
No, it doesn't disqualify.
Yes, it did.
No. Whoa. Time out. So Tom Brady not disqualified for that? For
what?
That turnover against Eli. How you lose to Eli? A guy that led the league in interception 3 straight times. 3 years.
Oh, yeah.
How you lose the league, Eli?
I don't know any turnovers. I just know one pass that Wes Welker should have caught.
No. He threw a pick early in that game. He might have threw 2. My memory foggy.
Yeah.
Comes and goes.
Foggy.
Yeah.
You guys.
But what about against the Eagles? Did he turn the ball over? And he dropped the touchdown.
He threw for 505 yards. No one's ever done that before.
Okay, nobody will remember it.
Good news.
Does anybody remember LeBron had 51 in game 1?
I'll remember.
No, you will. Yeah,
I know you guys will forget.
No mercy.
Pro Football Focus ranked the upcoming free agents, and quarterbacks took the top spots. Drew Brees came in at number 1, followed by Dak Prescott and Tom Brady, who rounded out the top 3. And last night, how about this? Tom Brady posted to his Instagram story saying, quote, "Go ahead and bet against me. You think you've seen the best of me. I'm grateful for you doubting me, and I'm determined to prove you wrong again." Orlando Scandrick is back with us. Orlando, is Brady really
I'm going to start it off.
the 3rd most valuable free agent, and how do you want to start?
Start it off like this. You bet against a streak. You could lose how long that streak lasts. You bet with the streak, you might win a lot. I don't know who Pro Football Focus is. I've been trying to figure this out since I've been in the league.
Who it is, yeah.
I know it's owned by Chris Collinsworth, and I know it's a bunch of analytic guys.
Yep.
This is where it gets tricky, because I think if you're going to rank Drew number 1, it's because you're saying he's going back to New Orleans. The familiarity, going back to the system, and just what he means to them. And if he doesn't go back to New Orleans and Tom goes back to New England, then I think he's won. But it's just age, the point where they are in their career. I think it's very, very, very difficult to rank them 1 and 2. And it's not because of their accomplishments, their talent. I just think that Dakota Rain Prescott is very young, and I think he's only going to get better. And even if his better never reaches what they are, I think his better is going to be long-term to help some franchise win a lot of games and maybe a championship win.
Okay, but right here, right now, is Dak better than Tom Brady as a potential free agent?
Yes. To Dallas, if they're staying with their respective teams.
No, to anybody.
I just think that for Tom, he's one sack away. That arm is like, he can read defenses. I mean, he still can make all the throws, but as the season goes on, you know, he's banged up so much. I mean, New England plays with the injury report. Are you on? Are you off? But what do you think he really feels like? He's what, 40?
Be 43 at the start of the season.
43 years old. I mean, are you going to seriously say
Be 43, yeah.
he's that much better than Dak Prescott? That you're going to, invest all your apples into that?
Is it my turn yet?
No, it's not your turn. This is what I can't understand. Skip Bayless, a guy that's been a Cowboy fan since 1960?
Yep.
1960.
Forever.
He everything Cowboys. Dakota Rain. I mean, the dude.
Rain Dakota.
He threw 4 picks. Gave him a B+. They lose a game.
I did not.
Yeah, you do.
He never threw 4 picks.
But Skip, I think where Skip is coming from, Skip won a championship and he won it now. He don't care how it comes. He don't care about tomorrow.
I
don't care about 5 years.
I just believe that Dak Prescott today, moving forward, because that's what this is about. This is not about today going backwards. This is about today. What the day is?
The 18.
18.
Yeah.
2/18/20. Moving forward is Dak Prescott. That's your guy.
This is the same man who repeatedly and consistently through the last football season would not even rank Dak Prescott in the top 20 quarterbacks. Not even in the top 20.
I say he's middle of the pack. I think he's about top 14, 13, 14.
Yeah, but like 18, 19, 21.
I mean, he ain't my homeboy.
Yeah. Okay, well, obviously he's
two,
not.
And not 2.
Yeah. Are you finished?
But just Skip, look, I get it. Tom has been great. But see, if people would actually critique Tom, because they do the same. See, this is what they do anytime like LeBron does something and they say, okay, you compare LeBron against Jordan. Jordan 6-0. When you talk about Tom Brady and how he played this year, but he got 6 Super Bowls. He got 6 We're not talking about that. We're talking about 2019. How did he look? 19th in QBR, 20th in yards per attempt, 20th in completion percentage. That's what we're talking about moving forward. Give me old Dak. Dak got a better QBR.
Give me old Dak.
Old Dak Prescott. Old Dak.
Dak.
Old
Dak. F's every
Give me Dakota.
That's just
I'm from the Dakotas.
Yeah.
So who do you rank? How do you rank this list? I'll pose the question to you. Like, who do you think are the top 3 free agent quarterbacks?
I mean, if you say, you know what, Shannon, going forward, you get one of these guys going forward, I take that.
For the future.
For the future.
Longevity.
But I mean, if you get Drew back to New Orleans or Tom back to New England.
I just, man, I mean.
Okay, that's enough. It's my turn.
Please, Skip, tell us.
Enough of all this. You are both dead wrong. You're gonna look so bad.
Okay.
Michael Jordan is about to be a free agent, and I'm talking about Michael Jordan in 1998 at the end of his prime, where he had a couple of good years left before he took 3 years off to go to Washington. I'm talking about that Jordan.
But Skip, that was Michael 35.
Michael Jordan. Again, that's what's about to happen.
You talking about one of the greatest basketball players to ever play. This ain't one of the greatest football players to ever play.
Oh, stop it. He's the greatest football player ever, and you know it.
Football is way more of a team game than basketball.
Okay.
Way more of a team game. And when you don't got a good team, you say, you got nobody.
Football ever.
Oh,
and you say Aaron Rodgers. Maybe he could go win punt, pass, and kick, or Mahomes could. But this guy throws the most accurate, catchable ball in the history of this league, and he has the greatest quarterback mind ever, and he's about to be on the open market, albeit at age 42, and he looked pretty great to me all last year with the worst supporting cast of any potential playoff
that supporting
team.
cast ain't getting no better.
Okay.
They're going to lose players, if anything.
Okay,
they're gonna lose
that's
them
why you're missing the boat again, because he ain't going back there. He's going somewhere else. He's going to the Chargers or the 49ers, or who knows, he might even go to my Dallas Cowboys, because if that gets any uglier, Jerry Jones is going to sit back and say, who gives me the better shot of winning the next 2 Super Bowls, Tom Brady or Dak Prescott? It's Tom Brady.
Jerry Jones, a lot of things, but Dumb ain't one of them. He don't make irrational decisions.
Okay, well, that's not irrational because
That's very
let me tell
irrational. You don't
the
make temporary
biggest story
decisions,
in
but-
maybe the history of the National Football League would be Tom Brady in Dallas to finish his career.
The biggest mistake would be making a permanent decision for a temporary fix.
Okay, let's look back at last year's Patriots, shall we? Who was his go-to receiver? Help me out.
Edelman.
I think it was Julian Edelman.
Super Bowl
Broken
MVP.
down, beat up Julian Edelman, who had fractured ribs, a bum knee, and a shoulder that needed to get fixed after the season. Guess what? Julian Edelman led the National Football League in dropped passes last year.
I'm going to tell you one thing. Everybody in the National Football League is broken down and hurt.
Not like this guy. He's a possession receiver at age 33 who's taken way too many licks.
But look how you do that, Skip. You say, oh, he's done at 33, but Tom Brady's going strong at 43.
Plays a completely different position where they used to protect him. They didn't protect him last year. And he was protected by the 18th best rushing attack in the National Football League.
Let's run this thing back. So let's go to some of Tom's earlier championships.
Okay, they don't matter.
They do, because you just told me it was the greatest scorer in the national.
You said he's the same player.
Oh, he was the same player. And by the way, the very same player. Ha, ha, ha. Well, help me out. Who had the 2 seed in the palm of his hand? Who spit the bit on the 2 seed at the end of the Miami game? Bill Belichick did, and you let him off the hook every day on this show when he deserves all the criticism for what happened against the Miami Dolphins. The Dolphins are in Foxborough. Tom Brady has lifted a below-average football team into the 2 seed in the AFC. And what happened? Brady goes 8 plays, 60 yards, right on like clockwork for the touchdown that should have won the game with 3:53 left.
What was the score?
He hits James White with a 13-yard pass. And guess what the score was there? 24-20 home team. Thanks to Tom Brady with yet another fourth-quarter game-winning drive. All Bill Belichick's defense had to do, you know a little something about defense, just a little. All they had to do was stop Ryan Fitzpatrick from going, let's see, 75 yards.
That defense was what made them the 2 seed.
Okay.
They carried them all year.
75 yards, and he went 13 plays and 75 yards, and with 24 seconds left, he didn't need a field goal. He needed a touchdown, and he throws it to Mike Gesicki for 5 yards, and they lose 27-24. Where was the defense?
Well, how did Miami get it 20?
If you win that game, you have the 2 seed. You have a week off. You get a home game to get to go play a rematch at Baltimore for the AFC Championship.
Y'all have took the L.
Because guess who would have taken the L at Baltimore? My homeboy would have.
Oh, so you see what he hoping? He wanted somebody to get. He wanted somebody to get.
If it was a fit.
He wanted someone to get Mahomes out of the way. Skip. The reason why Miami had 20 is because Tom Brady threw a pick 6 earlier.
24. It was 24-20.
Exactly.
Hey, it's over.
So he spotted him. So Tom spotted him.
So yeah.
Did he not do what needed to get done to win the game?
He did.
Oh, he did. Oh, wait. So 3:53 left. You're going to let Ryan Fitzpatrick go 75 yards for a touchdown?
If you don't mind me asking, Skip, how about this?
it.
How many games did the Patriots win in which the defense allowed 17 or more points?
All I know is they were in position to get the 2 seed. Is that good? It's great.
All I know is it didn't happen.
Guess what? Guess whose receivers led the league in worst separation? The Patriots. They had the worst separation.
But that's been their. If you know football, that's been their system. It's their system. They've been they take what you give them. They don't throw the ball downfield. They haven't thrown the ball downfield since they had Randy Moss.
They used to have underneath receivers who could get separation. Amendola.
But they didn't. But see,
Amendola was hurt most of his career there. That's why he had to take pay cut after pay cut. But then they eventually let him go.
But when I said, "Oh, Hogan is better than you think," he would be nothing without Tom Brady. I said, Amendola, yeah, he's banged up, but he understands that system.
Hogan could run. He could actually get
Julian Edelman.
people.
But now all of a sudden, Tom Brady does more with less. Now that he has less and he can't do it, it's everybody else's fault around him.
Okay, guess who the starting tight end was? Matt Lacoste?
Guess who the starting quarterback is? Tom Brady.
Yeah, watch what happens when he hits the open market.
I cannot
watch
wait.
what the Chargers do. Watch what the 49ers might do.
He can't move, Skip.
Yeah.
All the guys now, you got to be able to move, make plays
I think
outside
he
the pocket.
moves exactly the way he used to move.
Oh no, there's a statue in there.
Oh, stop it.
He's
He was always
motivated
a
to prove
statue.
you
Nice looking
wrong.
statue.
Did you see
but he a
his
statue in
40-yard
there.
dash at the combine?
But right now it's worse. You can be
Anything is better than what we saw there. That
Not
was
taking
wild.
nothing away from him.
Orlando, good to have
statue.
you. Thank you. I'm sure we'll have more time to talk about Tom.
No mercy.
So get this, NFL.com released a list of the most exciting athletes in all sports, and an NFL player didn't crack the top 3. LeBron James took the top spot, followed by Tiger Woods and Mike Trout. The first football player on the list was Patrick Mahomes at number 4. Then Serena Williams came in at number 5. So Shannon, do you agree with these rankings? This is hard for you. A lot of your favorites.
They got one right. That boy Spice Girl Bayless. I'm trying to figure out how the hell Mike Trout get up there.
That's a good question.
Skip, I have yet to hear say, hey, man, what you doing at 7 o'clock? Man, I got to get home to watch the Angels play. Let Tiger Woods, it ain't even got to be a slam. Let Tiger Woods be in contention on Saturday, Sunday. Let Serena Williams.
Must watch.
We already know my homeboy. And not scared. I can't tell him, go James. I tell you what. You can say, okay, advertisers, whoever have basketball games. We know the networks that basketball's on the national network. Okay, you can get the Clippers for the 20 games. You can get Giannis Antetokounmpo for 20 games, or you can get the Lakers. Who they taking, Skip? Because remember now, the Clippers also in L.A., so we can't use that about the market size. Who they getting, Skip? They getting Go James. You know that, I know that. So they got it dead right. They got it dead right with number 1. And number 2, I can live with Tiger. But Mahomes and Serena, they got the above Mike Trout. I don't even know how Mike Trout in the top 10, to be honest with you. He's a great player. I'm not trying to take that away. But Mike Trout is not must-see TV. Barry Bonds was must-see TV for a baseball player. He ain't that.
I will give you this. If I happen to be watching an Angels game, his at-bats are as must-see as you can get in today's game, because statistically, he's putting up numbers nobody's ever put up.
Right.
There's just not an electric factor to it where you say, I might see something I've never seen.
But you're not going to rush home to see it.
Listen, Barry Bonds,
yeah, exactly.
2001.
Yes.
Because I covered it. It was beyond must.
And Skip, they would interrupt normally scheduled programming on the ESPN to let you see an at bat.
That's cool.
Because I might see it splash in the coat.
Exactly.
That's what we're talking about. And with Mike Trout, we don't have that kind of excitement. Okay, I'm going to give you this, but for very different reasons. LeBron's games are easily the most exciting in all of sports to watch, for better and for worse, because it is a roller coaster ride with him. You might get a triple-double. You might get 8 turnovers.
You might get 8.
Yes, sir. You
might get 4 or 5.
Okay, we had one just 10 days ago. You had 8 turnovers. You might have disappeared down the stretch.
My goodness.
You might have missed the last-second shot. You might have missed the late-game free throws. You might have some sort of drama going on, because I say this to you, every LeBron game has a subplot to it. There's always something going on. He is easily the most interesting man in all of sports, I think, in sports history. Because every day we come in here after a LeBron game, it's some big issue that arises that you can't see coming.
He should be the Dos Equis guy. He's the most interesting man in the world.
He is that.
Yeah, that's what he is.
He is, but it's always drama king.
It ain't no
there's
drama.
Always something going on with it.
You made it that.
No, I didn't make it. He makes it that. He's got this force field around him where he just can't help himself. He's always in the middle of some crazy controversy after every game. They can be playing Sacramento, and you know and I know we're going to come in here and something went down in the locker room.
Well, I want Mahomes to be number 2. Because I never know what I'm going to get. I might get a no-look pass. I might get a jump pass. I might get him scrambling, get 27 and a go-ahead touchdown, Skip.
You know what? I disagree with that, because Tiger is still far and away second, and he is close to being first on this list. And I'll tell you why. Because we were off, I got to watch the whole, what's used to be called the L.A. Open. It's here at Riviera. It's now called the Genesis Open.
Okay.
Tiger Woods wound up. He did make the cut. He finished dead last. And I got to tell you, all day Sunday, all I cared about was, even though we had Rory McIlroy versus Adam Scott all the way home,
ain't
nobody
I just wanted to see Tiger. I wanted to see him finish dead last, because there's something about the electricity around him where I might see a shot, even if he's finishing dead last, that I've never seen before.
Well, Skip, I wanted him to be up there because I wanted to watch Sunday, give me a reason to watch Sunday, because it was obviously before the All-Star game came on. I wanted something to watch. And then when I looked, I was like, oh, there ain't no sense in me watching that.
Okay. It was the best field of the year on the PGA Tour. It might have been the best just regular stop field that we've ever seen, because it was loaded, because everybody, Koepka and Justin Thomas, they're all there.
Right.
And Tiger, again, he was the honorary chairman of the week. It's his tournament, but he just dominated the TV coverage.
So who dominated NFL coverage? My homeboy.
Tom Brady.
No, stop it.
Come on.
Who got the number 1 jersey himself? My homeboy.
Who's had it for years.
Who's Super Bowl MVP? My homeboy. Tom Brady throwing a no-look. Tom Brady going to scramble for 27 on a go-ahead touchdown. Can he throw a jump pass? And you hear what they're saying? He been practicing a behind the back. He say he's doing it with 8 out of 10 times. He can complete it. Yes.
Who threw back-to-back interceptions late third, early fourth quarter? My homeboy.
To make it interesting. Because he was about to get away. He didn't want to lose any viewers.
No mercy.
John Morant was the runaway favorite to win Rookie of the Year until Zion Williamson returned from injury. Through 10 games this season, Zion is averaging more than 22 points and 7.5 rebounds. He also made headlines when he dunked so hard in the Rising Stars game that he bet the rim and backboard. Heading into the second part of the season, Ja remains the favorite to win the award, but Zion seems to be closing the gap. So, Shannon, who do you have winning the Rookie of the Year award at the end of the season?
Ja. Skip, I just think Zion has missed too much time. He's already missed 45 games. He's only played 10 games with a possible 27 more to go. So basically what we're going to have is a Joel Embiid, Malcolm Brogdon situation. Skip, you remember Malcolm Brogdon won the MVP because Joel Embiid had only played, I think he only played 31 games. Skip, need to have a look. I think even Zion is missing so much time. Had no one really separated themselves. But Ja's been spectacular. I think he's been as good as advertised, 17-7, and they're already surpassed the win total that Vegas had predicted they would have, and they passed that at the All-Star game. They're in the 8th spot. Now, I guess if Zion keep this streak up and somehow he can get them into the 8th spot, all bets are off. But look, I'm looking at it right now. As we stand here right now, I got Ja. I had Ja at the beginning of the year, and I'm not budging off him.
Okay. I love Ja, but this ain't over. 27 games remaining, as you point out, except you did not point out the easiest schedule left in the entire NBA belongs to the Pelicans. The hardest remaining schedule belongs to Memphis. If, by chance, the 5.5 game gap is overcome by Zion and company, Zion's going to be right in the middle of this thing.
He's going to be in the middle.
So he's already averaging 22-8. Let that rise up to 25-10, and he carries them into the 8th playoff spot, the last playoff spot.
Skip 45 games?
I'm sorry. That would do it. And I love what Ja's done. 18, and I got him 18-7.
Yeah.
It's great. It's great. It's everything that I did expect from him. I did not expect Memphis to be in the 8th spot.
No, I don't think
they have
anybody
been
did.
Extraordinary. They're 28-26, so they're 2 games over 500, but that's good enough to hold off Portland 4 more games back and San Antonio 5 more games back and Pelicans 5.5 games.
Y'all, hold on. I know the Spurs ain't out of the playoffs.
I already told you I'm done.
Yeah, you can't be done. That's your team.
Okay, I am not done with the Pelicans. I am not done with Lonzo Ball. I am definitely not done with Zion. This is a loaded, young, must-see TV team. I'm watching all the way home.
If I'm not mistaken, didn't they get a national televised game on Friday?
They did.
So, yeah, they're up and down. Okay. They're going to be in the high 120s, 130s. Zion is jumping out of the building, blocking shots. But, Skip, the guys missed 45 games.
Easiest remaining schedule. Let him lift them into the 8th
So what about those 45 games he missed? What am I supposed to do about that?
Well, because you know what's going to happen? Everybody will forget about the 45.
Well, hold on. We're assuming that he's going to play in all 27 of the remaining games.
Okay, I am assuming that. Okay. I'm just telling you, it's not over yet. It's not a done deal.
Ja.
Yeah. Ja. And I told you before the draft, I love Ja, but long term, I'm taking Zion, and I think you're starting to come around.
No.
Yep.
Skip, I told you my concerns were they still are there. They're still there. As long as he can maintain his weight, stay injury-free, the sky's the limit. But
he's looking pretty special and explosive to me.
Ja don't look special. He's the only rookie that got a triple-dub. How many rookies got a triple-dub, Skip?
Okay.
Ja got one.
Okay, now it heats up. You got 28 games left, Memphis, and you're playing the hardest remaining schedule.
Don't try to see. There you go. You always trying to put doubt in people's head.
I'm not. I'm just.
Yeah, they got the hardest schedule. They're in the 8th spot.
Okay, did I not just state a fact? They got the hardest remaining schedule just on record.
Well, if the Memphis is what they think they are, don't worry about the schedule.
Okay.
You just play your game.
I'm rooting for Zion as much as I love Ja, and I think he's got a real
well, we gonna help Zion out on Friday.
They're both.
We'll help him out on Friday.
Maybe you should go to that game, actually. That might be the game for you to watch in person. Ja coming to town?
Yeah.
Well, I had an arrangement I was supposed to go to, but that might be off the table now.
Oh,
an arrangement?
I was supposed to go to Floyd's birthday party.
Floyd?
Yeah. But you ruined that.
Well, we'll have to see if you
you
still
ruined
are
it.
invited. That was on you, Shannon.
No mercy.
Well, it was a scary scene during the final lap of yesterday's Daytona 500. Ryan Newman's car flipped over and slid upside down across the finish line, causing sparks to fly and his car to catch fire. Safety crews were quick to get Newman out of his car and rush him to the hospital. Newman did not suffer any life-threatening injuries, but remains in serious condition. So, Skip, I would like your reaction just when you saw this.
The sad irony to me, and I was watching it live, is that Ryan Newman was in perfect position to win the Daytona 500 with one lap to go. He did not need a push from his Ford teammate Ryan Blaney, but he got a big push, and Ryan Newman lost control, and he got T-boned in the driver's side door, which can be fatal. We've seen it in the distant past, right? And he was very lucky to survive it. But again, I was left with the fact that he was in perfect position just to finish the race.
Yeah, Skip, I'm glad he's okay, but it's just credit to the safety measures that NASCAR has implemented because no debris was able to fly into the stands. But Skip, you have to imagine this. These cars are traveling at somewhere excess of 180 miles an hour on 12-foot wide aprons, and you're inches apart. So we're not surprised that when you get crashes like this, Skip, they're horrific in nature because you're going at speeds of almost 200 miles an hour, and you could literally, they touch paint. You're swiping each other. And he got up under him, lifted him.
With this whole idea of teammate helping teammate, in this case, he did not help him.
Well, maybe they should have signaled that in. Like, hey, he's good.
Yeah, he's good.
Well, we're going to be praying for him, thinking about he and his family. That is it for us. We'll be back tomorrow morning at 9:30 Eastern.
No mercy.
Thanks for listening to the Undisputed Podcast. I'm Jenny Taft. Join us again at the same time tomorrow morning, 9:30 Eastern. We'll see you then.
Fox Sports. One of one.